From the Quantum Fiber Studio
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Big show for you guys today. We have the latest from Pete Carroll. Great interview yesterday morning with Brock and Salk. We've got injury updates from Justin Hollander, who was on with us yesterday afternoon. We've got a Seahawks schedule to get to. Rowland-Smith talking Mariners coming up at 11. Before we get to any of that, though, first of all, Bump, I'm happy that you were able to make it in today because we didn't know if you'd be here. You mind telling us a little bit about what happened on your way into work today?
Yeah. Thug life is what happened. Your boy went to Starbucks. Starbucks. I'm making that left on East Lake, and I didn't use the turn signal. And the one time guy, we call them the 12s, you know, they pulled me over, and the guy was nice. It was cool. He was like, hey, man, did you use your turn signal? I go, yeah, I didn't. But you're
right, officer.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I got this matcha, and I got to get to work.
Is this necessary? I know I got my LA hat on. You know, you looking at me funny, but it's all good. Yeah, he pulled me over. He let me go. I'm like, you needed something to do. You need something to do. But yeah, it's thug life all day. Starbucks.
Thug life.
Starbucks gang. Bing, bing, bang.
I like that it starts with thug life. You know how it is. I got my matcha latte. I got back in my new car.
Matcha. But yeah, it started off rough. But I do want to give a shout out to Monroe High School golf team, man. They had a great year. The head coach is one of my buddies, James Lane. We call him Jimmy. And he also hit a hole-in-one yesterday. So, James.
So you're upset.
I love you, and I hate you at the same time. He's the best golfer I know. But he's got my son's swing right. My son's swing looks good, and he's going to beat me pretty soon here.
Do you think Jimmy has shot a 77?
I've seen this dude shoot like a 70.
Oh, so for him, 77 is like, that's funny.
It's a bad day. He'll shoot a 77 and be mad walking off the course. And I'll be like, man, I hate you, Jimmy.
You didn't get a ticket, right?
No, I didn't get a ticket. He let me go.
I'm glad
why pull me over then? It's almost like, give me the ticket. Give me the ticket.
I think that's what he's doing. I think
you wasted my time.
You know what? I think that, honestly, he's probably just looking for something to do.
He was bored.
You know, he's just thinking, like, what do I got? I'm just sitting in my car. I really got to pull someone over.
Who chills outside of Starbucks and just waits for people to not use their turn signal?
Yeah, what if he's doing this to like a million other people? Did anyone else get pulled over this morning for not using a turn signal? I've never been pulled over for that. But I always...
Me either. That's my first time. I mean, coming out, you know, it's quick. If you go to the Starbucks in the East, like, you know, like, there's some blind spots. So you're just trying to hit it. You're trying to get out there and get out. So thank you to the officer who didn't give me a ticket.
Yeah.
And big ups to James Lane and the Monroe golf team. You guys are dope.
Right. No,
Jimmy,
Thug
I
Life.
hate you.
Thug Life, pulling out of Starbucks. Shout out to Monroe Golf. All right, so we have some Pete Carroll sound, very interesting Pete Carroll sound to get to at 10:30. Some sound from Justin Hollander, updates on Mariners injured pitchers coming up at 10:45. Rowland-Smith at 11. Let's talk Seahawks schedule. Our biggest takeaways from the 2025 schedule reveal. I'm going to start with an overall takeaway, which is, Bump, I'm struggling to find something to really complain about. I was disappointed that I didn't have like this really, you know, like a moment where I could really rant about the league, having it in for the Seahawks. I thought, okay, all right, it's kind of balanced. I'm cool with that. Unless someone disagrees, you can join this conversation, 866-979-3776. Your first early takeaways before we run through it.
Week 1, week 18. I love it. You get the Niners at the beginning, you get them at the end. Because typically it feels like you get them within a month or 6 weeks. You see them twice. So I like that. Week 2, let's go, DK. How's life in Pittsburgh? You know, how's your new girl? You know, how's everything going over there? Week 6, Travis Hunter. We get to get eyes on him. I love seeing that. Week 9, Jaden Daniels and Deebo Samuel. We get to see that show. Week 12, go Cougs, but not. You got Cam Ward over there, Tennessee. Then you got week 14, Dubs down, but I like Michael Penix. And then week 17, we get to figure out who Bryce Young really is, because he finished the season off on such a high note, and you feel good about him. Canales feels good about him, and you get to see what it's really like. Oh, don't forget week 13, Minnesota. What's up, JJ?
Yeah.
You know, so no, I like the schedule. Week 8, you got the bye week right in the middle of this thing, dang near. I love that. No, the schedule's good. I like it.
Here's what I like about the beginning of the schedule. So let's just run through what we've got in September here. I, like you, love opening up with a divisional game and then closing the season with one. Love opening up at home against San Francisco. Fantastic. Even if San Francisco and Seattle are in seasons where it's like, are they rebuilding part of their team? Are they still going to contend? What's the expectation I should have? It's still going to be a great matchup. I'm excited for that one. I'm looking at it from a storyline point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2, you're heading to Pittsburgh to see DK. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the starter for the Steelers in week 2? Is he even playing this year? Is he actually going to retire? Are we in week 2 going to be talking about the Seahawks going to Pittsburgh to play Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf? Like, I'm kind of excited for what that conversation is going to be. Also, you're going to start talking about, I don't know that the Steelers defense is going to be quite as sharp as it was, but I think we're going to have early conversations about, what does Sam Darnold and this offensive line look like? Because the defense is obviously the strength of that Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, it's when it comes to Pittsburgh, one, I need Aaron Rodgers to go ahead and sign a deal so I win my bet with you.
You won't.
Unlike you, I will adhere to what the results are of the bet because Stacy a couple of years ago still hasn't paid up.
I think you guys are misunderstanding.
But it's all good. But no, it's almost like I want DK to have success, though. I'm not hating on DK.
Just not in week 2.
Yeah, it's not week 2. If he goes for $120 and a touchdown and loses, I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. But I want to see what he looks like. 425 points out Tyler Lockett. Do we play Tyler Lockett? No, we don't. Do we play Tyler Lockett? No.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah,
but later in the season. I'm not there yet.
Later in the season. But no, week 2 is it's going to be great. It's set up perfectly because you get a good shot at a team that is predicted to finish number 2 or second in the division with the San Francisco 49ers. Get to see what that's all about. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy, he still hasn't signed a deal yet. Is he going to get paid? What's that team going to look like? And then week 2, you travel on the road. You go to Pittsburgh, and you get to see your ex and DK. Side note, DK, I feel like is going to look really good in that uniform. Like his body type, I feel like it's going to look good in that black and yellow.
Yeah, I think all the Pittsburgh Steelers uniforms are tinted visors. Yeah. Like that vibe is what they are. I obviously in week 3, you're back at home, Clint Kubiak's former team. I'm not expecting a tough test from New Orleans, but I think that there's a story there that's really interesting. And then you're on the road against Arizona. And obviously that's a team where you've had success on the road, like in each other's home stadiums. You've typically had more success. Okay, let's kind of take a step back. I just wanted to talk about that first month. I like the storylines that are there. When's the first test?
Week 1.
Okay.
Week 1 is the first test out the gates. And the great thing about a test in week 1 is that you're more likely to pass that test because you don't really know what that team is. You have an idea. You have the same coordinator over there, offensive coordinator, Shanahan. Salah is back. You have film on him and what he likes to do, but you don't really know what that team is going to be. They got a lot of turnover going on over there. So, but if you just exclude week 1, I think that after that, your first real test is going to be week 9, honestly. Week 9, because I think New Orleans is going to be a decent team. You should beat them. Arizona, you know what? Don't sleep on Arizona, man. Arizona's been making some strides.
Don't sleep on Tampa Bay.
Don't sleep on Tampa either. But the most talented team you're going to see, I think, comes week 9. But I agree with you. I think Tampa Bay is going to throw some hands with you.
Yeah, that offensive line is pretty tough in Tampa Bay. I agree with you overall in that when I was thinking of, so the first test, obviously, you're going against a divisional opponent. Even if you had the Arizona Cardinals in week 1, a divisional opponent is always going to be a test. That game's just going to carry more weight. In terms of where that tough stretch is, I'm looking at week 9, 10, and 11. And I know that Arizona is part of that, and we might expect Arizona to finish 4th in the division. But you have on the road against the Commanders, taking on a divisional opponent, taking on another divisional opponent, the Rams, a road game there on November 16th in week 11. And it's a game in which I would bet Seattle would not be favored. The Rams are favored to win the division. I just think like that's your really tough, concentrated period of games is week 9, 10, and 11. Thankfully, here's the thing. Your toughest stretch, in my opinion, are the first 3 games right after your bye week.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think the month of November in general is going to be tough, right? You got Washington, Arizona, L.A., Tennessee, we shall see, and then Minnesota. If they are anything like they were last year, that's going to be tough. The month of November is going to be tough. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But Arizona is an interesting group, interesting team, because you see the potential over there. You have McBride over there, the tight end, who's awesome, was the highest paid tight end in the game until George Kittle got his deal. You have Marvin Harrison, who we know is going to be an elite receiver. Kyler Murray, forget what you think about him. I know he has this cloud over his head about him not studying and all that good stuff. My man can play some ball
And some Call of Duty.
And some duty. He's probably nice. He knows all the maps. Knows
all of them.
All of them. He's good with that. But no, Arizona I think is the most interesting part in that stretch because they're the team with the most room to grow. Right? Washington, can you be the team that you were last year? The Rams, we assume, are going to be a solid team just because they are every single year as long as McVay is over there and Matthew Stafford, your boy. And they also have Devontae Adams over there as well. No, I like that stretch. November is going to be tough, and it should be tough, man. That's when football becomes football in November. It gets cold. You're on the road.
Yeah.
You're
Buying
battling.
turkey.
Right. You're figuring out who you are, essentially. Yeah, November is going to be tough. I agree with that.
From the text line 253, the biggest question about the schedule is, of course, when are the throwback and rivalries uniforms going to be worn? Great question. I wonder if the rivalry uniforms being introduced for the two divisions this year can begin in week 1 with that home. It has to be a home game for you, for you, obviously not for your opponent, against a divisional opponent. Why not week 1?
Why not?
I mean, maybe I could see the Seahawks being like, wait, we want to do these uniforms we wouldn't normally wear in week 1 of our season.
I think you gotta. I think you have to come out with your traditionals week 1.
Okay, fine.
You know, you got to ease into it.
The opportunity is there week 1. If not, you've got a divisional game in week 4.
It's got to be against the Niners. It's got to be.
Then you'd be the last ones to do the rivalries uniform.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay, what about when do you want to see the first throwback?
Throwback, I want to see that. I want to see them things.
I have a guess already.
Let's go week 7, right before the bye.
I think it's going to happen week 5 against Tampa Bay.
Week 5?
Yeah.
Those would be some cool throwbacks. They both wore the throwbacks.
Because they're
the creamsicles.
so popular that I don't think this team's going to waste time. And Curtis, how many times can they do the throwbacks this year?
You can now do it up to 4 times.
It's got to be October 5th against Tampa Bay.
Use all 4. They better use all 4 of them.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Other uniform oddities this year. They got that new rivalry uniform that Nike's unveiling. So it's going to be against a divisional opponent. Do they go week 1 unveiling this new uniform?
Curtis Rogers.
Welcome to the show.
I was just wondering this. But then Bump thinks that it wouldn't be like with week 1, the ceremony of it, that you may not want to do an alternate uniform. It's like you should be.
Week 1 last year, they wore the throwbacks.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Who they play week 1? It was
Denver last year.
They did wear the throwbacks week 1.
So maybe.
I think Nike might want to have that debut in primetime.
Well, and yes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Primetime.
Although San Francisco, even though the 49ers and Seahawks have kind of been at different places, you know what I mean? Like they haven't quite had the best versions of themselves match up in a while. I think it's still a rivalry that is recognized and marketable and easy to see. So there's an opportunity there to sell it.
Week 4 is a primetime NFC West matchup at Arizona.
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily consider them your traditional rival.
No.
Their only home division primetime game is week 16 against the Rams. That's a long time to wait.
Yeah,
I don't want to wait that long to see what they look like.
All right, man. Week 1. Let's do it.
Okay.
Week 1.
You're open to it?
I bought into it.
Okay, rivalry uniforms,
there's too much gap. There's too much time in between these games. Yeah,
okay,
week 1.
What else did I have? I had sneaky tough. What's the sneaky tough part of this? Either part of the schedule or game. Because we already knew the opponents, but now that you kind of know where they're going to be, the sneaky tough week where you're like, do not chalk this up as a win.
ATL, Atlanta. That offense is going to be something special next year. Michael Penix is going to be the guy. The lefty's going to be throwing that thing. You got Drake London over there, John Robinson. They just picked up, I mentioned him yesterday or the day before, Nick Nash, a receiver out of San Jose State. I think Atlanta could be a sneaky team. That NFC South is going to be interesting.
Let's see. I had a couple more questions. 866-979-3776. Good call on the throwbacks versus Tampa. Thank you. The 2 expansion teams in there. Oh, very good point. Okay. Is there a portion that, God, I don't want to say easy. Does anyone have a win total prediction they want to make right now before we keep it moving?
10.
Curtis, Matt?
Run it back.
10, run it back?
10.
10? 18.
Okay, Matt, I love that.
You said 18, Matt?
Now, Matt, 18, do they win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
They get hot
Okay.
in January.
I loved the confidence. Yes. Curtis,
I'll go 9-8.
9-8. I think that's kind of where I'm settling.
Yeah, I'm at 10. I'm
Yeah.
at 10.
I think I just have just enough questions about Sam that even though I think the Seahawks have a kind of favorable schedule, like I don't look at it and think like, oh, they got completely screwed with this portion. This part's really tough. The opponents are already like the AFC South. Like you've got some quote easier opponents here. I just have questions about how the offensive line is going to come together and how Sam Darnold's
You
gonna
look at the first 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them. Crazy talk here. Coming
Be
out this
careful.
thing.
Be careful.
6-1, 4-2. I'm sorry. I'm like 6-1. Yeah. Oh,
6
sorry.
and
5-1.
5-1.
Oh, 7 games. Sorry.
7
Do the
games,
math.
6-1.
Do the math. 6-1.
So you think that
6-1.
they could get to the bye week with one loss?
They could. If we're going off what we saw last year, obviously you're going to get a new team out there. Houston's going to be better. The O-line's going to be better. Jacksonville has Travis Hunter. We shall see. Arizona's going to be better.
Houston's defense is nice.
If I'm looking at the team from last year, right? These teams from last year, I can see.
Sure,
6-1.
this team from last year missing Geno
6-1.
Smith.
I can see 6-1.
I don't know.
No, those teams from last year. This team
Yeah.
to be determined.
I think that they are going to have some sneaky tests early. I think Tampa Bay's offensive line is really solid. I obviously am not a Tampa Bay reporter. I don't know if they've lost some key pieces, but Houston's defense last year was nice. And the offensive line and offense in general taking a step back made
Offensive
people
line garbage.
overlook how solid they were there. Jacksonville, I have no idea what to expect. But yesterday in 4-down territory, you said you think that Trevor's going to throw 30-plus touchdowns this year.
He is.
So if that happens,
He is.
he's going to be on a hot streak heading into
is.
that game, unless he's going to be throwing like
Could be.
4 bombs a game for the rest of the season.
Or he could get shut down by this top 5 defense we got over here.
I think they could be around 500, and
500?
and that we could be pretty happy
Hmm.
with what they look like, and it's maybe some close games in here. But like week 2 on the road against a team where we currently don't know who their quarterback is,
Nah.
you should win that game.
6-1, 5-2. One of those. Calling it right now.
Fair. We'll see what you guys think. Join this conversation, 866-979-3776. We'll obviously get back to it. Maybe take some of your calls. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Aaron Judge's late home run yesterday gave the Mariners a 3-2 loss in Wednesday's series finale. What's the real headline?
Pitching to Aaron Judge has always been an error in judgment.
Wow.
That was Curtis.
Wow. Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Good job.
So I had the perfect view of his home run. I texted you guys as soon as it happened. I go, that ball looked like it was moving 300 miles per hour.
Yeah,
that
just
thing
about.
was out. As soon as he made contact, I'm like, that thing is gone. And the Terrace Club gives you just the perfect view. Like, people are getting all excited about these pop flies and stuff. I'm like, nah, that's not going out. Everyone calm down. I love that view. But Aaron Judge is a big human being. And when he squares that thing up, puts a barrel on the ball, it is gone quickly. That was impressive. Even I didn't clap, but I gave the head nod like,
Yeah, a
yep,
little tip at the cap.
I see you. That was a bomb.
Yeah, 117 miles per hour off the bat, which I think was the hardest exit velo in the StatCast era. So since like 2015, I'm not at T-Mobile, obviously. I'm not entirely sure. I was like skimming through a recap because I was like, God, what was that like? And then, I also want to, before we keep it moving, I know we're talking about Aaron Judge here. Bummer of a series, obviously dropping 2 series in a row now to the Blue Jays and then later to the Yankees. The early catch by Julio, though. First inning, home run robbery.
Come on.
My sister's boyfriend is a Yankees fan, and he kind of turned to us and was like, yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Heck of a play.
That's exactly why he should have made that play the other day against the Blue Jays. That was harder.
Ideally, he should have.
That was harder.
No, what he did he did yesterday was harder.
Yeah.
Than yes, I agree with that.
That's why you catch that dang ball against the Blue Jays.
I still think that would have been a tough catch.
It's a tough catch.
I am holding him to a high standard.
No, you're not. You're too soft on him right now.
No.
You're too soft on him.
No, because if this was not Julio, I'd be looking at the April like into May that he's had, and I'd be going, what are we complaining about? It's fine. He's average. Leave him alone. But because it's Julio, we go, well, we want to see more than this.
I'm telling you, against the Blue Jays, he did not commit. He was timid. He didn't go and grab that. As soon as that happened, I texted Stacy. I can't tell you exactly what I said because there were some curse words in there.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
The 626, he still got struck out twice. Look, this is what I'm saying, though. It's
He
like
also
he
drove
can't
in a couple
win.
runs,
That's
though.
what I'm saying. He also had a 2 RBI double. Like, I feel like he can't win sometimes, and it's unfortunate. I think we can simultaneously say, I really want more from Julio. I do. And it's so frustrating when he struggles because he's capable of more. And when you see him struggle with the same things, it becomes really annoying. But sometimes I feel like unless he's got a home run, a great catch, and cannot have a mistake, then there's going to be something people pick apart. Also, this team struck out 15 times.
That was the whole squad.
Not the only one.
That was the whole squad.
Why am I defending Julio? That's not my job.
Headline.
Oh, my bad. It was game 1 against the Yankees. It wasn't against Toronto. Julio's.
Yeah, it was Grisham.
Yeah, my bad.
Also.
My bad.
Yeah.
Headline 2, the Timberwolves are headed back to the Western Conference Finals after eliminating the Steph Curry-less Warriors last night. What's the real headline?
Can Seattle handle rooting for an Alex Rodriguez team over OKC?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
The
I don't
enemy
hate
of my
A-Rod.
enemy is my friend.
I don't even know that A-Rod is an enemy anymore. Like
He is to a lot of people.
He
here.
is
Not
to a lot of people.
you and me and Bob.
That's what I was
but-
going to say. To a lot of people here, and I've decided just not to touch it and just to leave it alone, much like my stepdad calling it the Bon Marché. Like, there are some things I just leave alone, and I don't try to correct anyone. It's Macy's. It has been for 2 decades. But it's everyone over OKC all the time.
And Anthony Edwards is just my type of guy. He is on the basketball court. Off the court, he's got some issues. But on the court, my dude is a monster. He's a competitor. I love it. As soon as Steph Curry went out, and then you saw Jimmy only take 9 shots, I think in like game 3 or 4 or something like that, you knew that it was a wrap for these guys. The Warriors were on a run. I think if Curry was available, they'd probably go to 7 games here. But good for the Timberwolves, man. Back to the Western Conference Finals to see if they can get it done this time around. They're the team I'm rooting for now. It's them and the Knicks. I want the Wolves and the Knicks in the finals.
I find the Knicks to be weirdly likable, and I'm not sure why, because everything about them should drive me crazy. They're obnoxious. They're East Coasters, New Yorker. It's just something about them. I find them to be like the only likable team.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Mets, but
They don't win.
nowadays,
Because they don't win.
yeah. And it's been since 90. When was their last appearance in
the finals?
Yeah.
99.
99.
Yeah, they don't win. With LJ and Sprewell, was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time.
But do you think they actually get there this year?
Yeah, for sure.
Favoring them?
They're the favorites in the East.
Okay.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, the first round of the PGA Championship is teed off from Quail Hollow. German Stefan Jaeger leading the field at -5. Phil Mickelson, brutal day for that guy. +8, and he's accepting blood money. What's the real headline?
Dang.
Well, Bump, it's been nice knowing you.
I got my iPad on right here to the left of me. I will be distracted all show. So if I ask Stacy to repeat questions, you know why. Because I got money on DeChambeau.
That's the thing. If I go first down and then I ask a question and we hear nothing,
Yeah, you know what I'm doing.
it's just Bump watching the PGA Championship on his iPad in the studio.
I'm just watching and imagining myself over there at Quail Hollow. So, yeah, it should be great. One of the greatest days in sports. Whenever a golf major is being played, you pay attention, folks.
But is it a double major?
It's the second one of the year, yeah, I guess.
Justin Hollander with updates on the Mariners' injured arms at 10:45. Coming up next, Pete Carroll talked about how things ended with the Seahawks and the benefit of time away.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer. Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and the newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ way is The Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy
Weekdays 10 to 2.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pete Carroll talked about how things ended with the Seahawks and the benefit of time away. This was in an exclusive interview with Brock and Salk yesterday. Coming up later in our show, we're going to get to him talking about the Raiders, obviously with Geno Smith, and kind of a look forward part to his interview. But we thought we'd split it up because this part deserves its own focus. First, Pete Carroll on the split with the Seahawks.
It came to me that there was a time that we probably were about to face one of the bigger changes, shifts in the time in the program, and I'd really been dedicated, as John had been dedicated to, John Schneider, to doing this thing in great fashion together, and we had done that, I thought, and it was really John's turn. It was his turn to take over, and I know I had the lead voice and all of that all through that time, and I was really hoping that John could become the general manager of the club and run it, and if we could do that and we'd figure a way to get out of that, we did, and so Jody was great about it, and so we just kind of agreed upon it that if we could work it out, I would support the thought, and that's kind of how it happened. So it's a little bit different than maybe how people perceived it.
I'm going to couple it with one more here.
And then John got his chance. I had told him the first day we ever talked that I was going to help him be the best general manager in the history of professional sports. I was a little lofty, a little lofty at the time. He was like 38 at the time. He's looking at me like, "What the heck is this guy saying?" But I meant it really, and so I think that through the time he has developed, it was kind of his turn, and there was a lot of big changes that were going to happen, and that were going to they were going to have to come. And I thought we might not agree on all of those changes, because I was going to hang with some guys more than maybe he would at the time, and the changes they made have obviously turned out great. They got a good coach and a good staff, and they're rolling, and so more power to them.
Bump, I thought this was the most fascinating part of the entire interview. I love the interview. I always love hearing from Pete Carroll. You get so used to someone's quirks when you cover them for that long.
Yeah.
Like even little things like in that fashion, I laughed out loud the first time I heard it because the way he spoke, you get used to little, things that he says. So I enjoyed hearing from him. It was some nostalgia. It was nice. There's other stuff that's really interesting, but the most interesting part, fascinating part, intriguing part of the interview was talking about that split with the Seahawks. I knew we were facing a shift. It was Schneider's time to take over fully. Knew there were changes coming that John and I might not agree on. I was going to hang on with some guys more than he would. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and it makes sense because he also mentioned that when John Schneider got the job, he was 38 years old, and he wanted to help him become the greatest general manager in all of sports. Also said that was pretty lofty, but in that process to becoming one of the best general managers in all sports, at least the pursuit of that, people start to grow and change. I could imagine that at 38 years old, John Schneider held on to everything Pete Carroll said. Like whatever Pete Carroll said was the truth. It was gospel. It was in the Bible. That was it. Around 45, he's probably looking at it a bit different. Like, all right, well, I have some opinions too. 47 comes around, you're like, you know what? I really don't agree with you anymore when it comes to this or that. That's just the natural maturation of a human being in relationships. People start to change, ideas start to develop, and philosophy changes a little bit, and it's natural. And Pete Carroll, being the older individual in this situation, saw that, and he said, you know what, it's probably best that we just step away and do our own thing. It doesn't mean that these guys ended on a bad note. It doesn't mean that Pete Carroll don't rock with John Schneider, John Schneider don't rock with Pete Carroll. It just means that things happen and people change and ideas change. So now this is the fun part. We get to see whose ideas and whose philosophies work the best. I think that John Schneider obviously has a leg up on Pete Carroll right now because Pete's taken over an organization that has been horrible the last few years, whereas the Seahawks were partly developed by Pete Carroll and have a better foundation. But we get to see both sides and see how things work out. And it's going to be fun to watch this thing unfold. And I wish nothing but the best for Pete Carroll, man.
Pete, during this part of the conversation, talked about realizing that changes and a shift were coming. I think he's talking about multiple things here, right? In part, changes in personnel. And he hints at that a little more directly, saying, like, I knew that there were guys basically that I would want to hang on to, that I really liked, that John might be more comfortable moving on from. And we've always talked about Pete Carroll just being a really loyal guy. And, were there players that throughout the course of his tenure here in Seattle, he held on to longer than he should have?
Right.
And we would critique, did the Seahawks not get the most out of these dynamic defensive players? Could they have traded one of them a little sooner? Could they have built up in a different way? Maybe it's become more obvious that Pete really wanted to hang on to guys for as long as possible, when maybe John would feel more comfortable moving on. Either way, I'm wondering what other changes you think he might be talking about, or what changes you think he's talking about in general when it comes to players. I found it interesting. We're facing a shift. It's like he saw something on the horizon and knew that he and John might disagree. What was it?
It could be a lot of things. I think personnel. It starts with personnel, because Pete Carroll is a loyal guy. How many former USC guys that we see run through here, especially in the beginning of Pete Carroll's tenure, right? He's a loyal dude. He's going to give his guys some opportunities, but that's the NFL. That happens all the time. Kubiak brought all his boys over here essentially from the Saints and guys that he's worked with. It could be personnel. It could also be just in the way they view playing the game.
Yeah, that's what I wonder.
You're now running a 3-4 defense. You're more of an even front. When Pete was here, cover 3, you're a bit multiple now. I think because John, when he gets on the mic, John Schneider, he always says he doesn't know as much as the coaches, which is perfectly fine and true. But John knows football. I've spoken to John, had conversations about football. He knows the game. So he's watching what's going on across the league, and maybe he has some ideas of how he thinks this team should be ran offensively and defensively. I think it comes down to philosophy as well, right? How do you think the Seahawks should adjust to what's going on around them as far as scheme? I think that's something. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what the approach is with the Raiders. Is Pete Carroll going to go with that traditional 4-3 cover 3 defense? Is he going to mix it up a bit? Like who knows? What has he learned? And also, I was listening to that interview live when it was going down. I was crossing the bridge, and he said,
"Did you get pulled over?"
I didn't get pulled. Not that day. Today, no signal, pulled over. Big ups to officer whoever who didn't give me a ticket. But he said, I think Brock asked him, like, what did you do this past year? And he said, I got to watch JV football, varsity football. I was around UW. So I could imagine him taking a step back and watching the game as more of a spectator and a student again, allowed him to come up with some new ideas and to kind of recharge and refresh what's going on here. So I want to see exactly how the product on the football field has changed with Pete Carroll. Or is it the same? Or was he did he feel validated? Did he look at what's going on and say, no, the way I do things can still work in this league with these type of players? So change is good, man, for both sides.
I want to toss something your way. Tell me if you agree. I'm just kind of thinking of it in real time. When I think of changes to certain guys, guys that I wanted to stick with, blah, 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 I obviously think of personnel and players. What if it's coaching? One of the new powers, but one of the new powers that John Schneider has as GM of the Seattle Seahawks without Pete Carroll is decision-making over coaching staff. He did not have that before. What if part of the problem that John had was, hey, I acquired this player via trade, and I don't really like your offensive coordinator. I acquired this guy, and I think he could be, a Pro Bowler, but I don't like your fill-in-the-blank position coach. I don't think he pushes him hard enough. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's got to go. I don't like this guy's scheme, but he couldn't have control over any of that. Like, what if it's coaching?
Could be. I mean, when you think of the fans and they talk about a coach who was here too long under Pete Carroll, what's the first name?
You could say Bevel.
Ken Norton is what pops in mind.
Ken Norton, yeah.
Ken Norton,
I mean, shoot, a number of guys.
Yeah, and maybe that has something to do with it as well. I mean, it's almost like this is John's not first opportunity to be a general manager, because obviously he's been that, but to do it without someone looking over his shoulder and questioning everything. I think Mike McDonald should question some of the moves that John wants to do, because that's how healthy relationships work, right? You got to have some dialogue and back and forth. But this is the second year where John is running the show all by himself. And that has to feel liberating to a sense, because, everyone has their own ideas and how they want things to run. So big ups to John, big ups to Pete.
Yep.
And Raiders, we'll see you in the preseason.
Yeah, 360. It's both coaches and players, but it was about control. Yes.
Yeah, it's always about control.
Well, and Pete had been in a situation where he didn't have as much as he wanted, then was in a situation where he had all of it and didn't want to give that up.
Yep.
And
how much control does he have in Vegas? You know,
I would imagine full control.
Right? You would think he's running the show over there
to a degree, because you still have some pretty prominent part owners and minority owners, obviously with like Tom Brady there. But I would imagine Tom Brady isn't stepping in on like who he thinks Pete should hire based on them trading for Geno, based on them, like the coaches that they brought in. I think Pete has full say.
Yeah. And why bring over Pete if you're not going to give him full control of the situation? It's the same thing that people
were facing with Bill Belichick. Exactly. Bill Belichick wanted full control, and any team that was going to bring him in had to accept he's going to have full control over everything we do, every other hire that I make, the decisions we make in the draft. It is his organization, and he doesn't want to relinquish that because then you have to co-sign on someone else's decision. So let's bring in a 36-year-old.
Bring in a youngin'.
Yeah.
Let me show you something.
Yeah. I could talk about this forever. We will get back to it, by the way, but we're talking Mariners next. The latest from Justin Hollander.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious. They're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car sitting around collecting dust? Turn that car into cash at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your vehicle today and pay you right up front, but it gets way better because once they resell your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. I was just at Wayscar Ford getting service on my new Bronco. If you guys are regular listeners, you know what happened there, Meg. I'm looking at you. I caught up with Mark, the GM, and we were talking about the program. They've been sharing their profits with people utilizing the program for several years now. In fact, there's a whole page on their website dedicated to photos of happy customers with those giant oversized checks. Mark said people take advantage of the program because it's so much easier than selling your car yourself. And you get way more money than if you were to just trade it in alone. Wayscar Ford offers a way to get a lot more money for your car without needing to go through the hassle of trying to sell it yourself. That makes it a no-brainer. It's only at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn for over 100 years. WayscarFord.com.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to communitytransit at ctgo.org/home run.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Can I just tell you guys something? I'm really excited to get Rowland-Smith on and talk Mariners at 11, but I cannot wait until the story we're talking about at 11:30 for the timeline. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you haven't, don't Google it. No spoilers. Don't spoil yourself. It is a Bears-related story, and I know that doesn't sound interesting because it's not about the Seahawks, but it is juicy, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm just saying it's going to start a lot of conversations. If you are listening right now, you're going to feel something about this story either way. You're going to either be like, that's within his right, or you're going to be like, that's absolutely ridiculous. I can't wait to get to it. That's coming up at 11:30 in the timeline. Again, Ryan Rowland-Smith talking Mariners at 11, and we are talking Mariners right now. Latest updates from Justin Hollander, who was on with us yesterday, Bump, and we talked about the, improved offense that we've seen from this team so far, but obviously had a lot of, unfortunately, injuries to cover with Justin. Here's the latest on Bryce.
It's the backside of his right arm. It's not where UCL or flexor is. It's inflammation in the back of his arm, and I realize I'm on radio and now pointing at the backside of my elbow. But there's just some inflammation in there. So he had a cortisone shot yesterday. Again, he'll be down, I would anticipate, 3 to 4 days at that point with no throwing, and let the cortisone do his work and then start throwing from there. As of now, we would anticipate him being eligible or active when he's eligible again, or something close to that. So not serious.
Okay, so active when he's eligible again, meaning that 15-day IL legitimately is like he's not going to be gone for a long time. He'll be back when that's up.
Yeah, and this is good news, honestly, because the way that Bryce was performing left people wondering, all right, he's regressing. What's going on there? He hinted that there might be something wrong with him physically. And, you take a break, you make sure your body is right, and get ready to go, because despite the struggles that have been happening with this rotation, this ball club has played some decent baseball. Now, I know you've won, one out of your last 6 games?
Yeah, so it doesn't feel like it, and the offense has also tumbled?
Doesn't feel like it, but I think the Toronto series was a blunder, right? You jacked that up, and then the Yankees series, you could have easily have won that series too, right? You get blown out the first game, 11-5, and then 2 close ones there at the end. This is good news, because I'd rather hear that something's wrong with him physically rather than him just not performing and something going on in between the ears. So, yeah, bad news, but good news at the same time. Get healthy, get better, and let's get ready to roll.
Here's the bad news to follow is that, unfortunately, you don't get much of a break. Your next series, you do have an off day today, extra innings at 7 p.m. Your next series is beginning on Friday. 2 bits of bad news with that. One, it's going to be on Apple TV. Which
bad news.
I really like, but I know somewhere out there someone is going to be bothered by that. But 2, you're playing the Padres, and they are one of the hotter teams in baseball right now. Curtis, is that Bryce? Would have been Bryce's next scheduled start?
He would have been in this series, yeah.
Okay.
So they moved Brian Wu up a day, but it's not like he'll be pitching on short rest. They got the off day today,
Right.
so he'll be going regularly.
Okay, so you've got Wu in game 1 there tomorrow for Friday night baseball, and then Diaz, who was it during filling in for Miller?
So this weekend it will be Logan Evans Friday, Hancock Saturday, Wu Sunday.
Okay.
Then Monday, probably Luis Castillo. Tuesday TBD, Wednesday TBD.
So you've got...
So about through Tuesday, you kind of know.
So you've got that upcoming series to get through without your guys, and then at least you get Bryce back. Who knows when Kirby would come back? Let's take a listen to the latest on Kirby's next rehab start.
George is supposed to throw his next rehab outing on the 16th. We're kind of taking it outing by outing and seeing where he's at, how he feels. So we'll see how George does on the 16th and how he feels afterwards. No guarantee that we would activate him for the next start in the big leagues. It just depends on how it goes. We want to make sure George is ready.
Something Justin reminded us during this interview is George Kirby didn't get a spring training.
Yeah.
So don't think that just because he's got this rehab start coming up that he's like going to be thrown back out there soon.
Yeah, he said something to like 5 or 6 starts he normally would get. He just didn't receive, right, because of the injury. So we have to taper expectations. I think it's legit for people to be excited about him coming back and helping this rotation out and hopefully giving you 5-6 good innings, helping that bullpen out. But let's be real about our expectations.
Be so for real.
Be so for real. He could come out and be hot, which I would love. I would appreciate it. Thank you, please. But in reality, there's a ramp up period that happens, especially when you're talking about pitchers. You know, it's just the body has to respond. You got to get your timing right. You got to get your feel on point. So yeah, it'd be nice to have him back, but let's be real about this situation.
Yep. Let's get to the latest on Logan Gilbert.
With Logan, he threw a bullpen yesterday. It was 92, 94. I think his last pitch in the pen was 95. He said it was 90% effort. So I was told there'd be no math, but that seems good. He felt good afterwards, which is obviously the most important thing beyond the velocity. And we'll just see where Logan's at over the next couple of days and when he's ready for his next bullpen and go from there. Again, we feel like it's going great so far. There are injuries, and you can never truly predict. It's art and science when he's going to be back, but we feel like he's definitely on the right track.
The good news, Bump, is that these 3 players are expected back this year, and that it's May. So it's not like you're hoping they can squeeze back onto the schedule in September. It's like you're expecting them back. The bad news is, and we talked with Scott Braun of Foul Territory about this was kind of always something, like a little cloud lingering over your club going, don't put all your eggs in the pitching basket.
Right.
You have been uncanny in terms of like the health and success that you've had with this rotation. You're not going to get that every year. You shouldn't count on it every year. And what we're seeing now is the reality of that bet.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, that was a fantasy. That was something we couldn't imagine, right? The 5 starters being healthy the whole year and getting through a season like that. But now this is what most teams go through. It's inevitable. Guys are going to get hurt, especially on the mound, and you got to find a way to adjust, and that's what they're feeling right now. So even with all that stuff that's going on, I mean, the Mariners are still in good position, even though they've lost, 5 out of their last 6. Didn't look great against Toronto, but you're still in position to do everything that you want to do this year. Long season ahead of you. But you're not the only team going through this stuff, man. It happens all across the league. So Julio, continue to turn that corner. Cal, keep hitting bombs. Polanco, do your thing. Or Rosarena. I think his on-base streak was snapped the game before last. But keep getting on base and producing. It's a grind, man. It's 162. So let's get through it.
All right, well, let's take a look ahead to this series against the Padres, figure out how the Mariners, for the time being, can work through some of these pitching injuries and talk about how the offense can bounce back with Ryan Rowland-Smith. He joins us next.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me? Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and the newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Mr. K's Construction reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Mr. K's Construction. Committed to making your home and our community beautiful since 1977.
Hey, it's Rowland-Smith for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I dropped 30 pounds and honestly, I feel amazing and it has been so easy to keep off. But I didn't want to just lose weight. I wanted to be in the best shape of my life. Look, I'm in way better shape than what I was even when I was playing. I've lost all that visceral fat, which is super crucial long term, and now I'm sleeping better. I've got way more energy, and I'm actually maintaining the results. I'm not guessing anymore when it comes to diet. I finally understand my body. The meals are simple, I'm never hungry, and they fit into my lifestyle. And yeah, now that I've dropped the body fat, I can still enjoy an Aussie meat pie on the weekend, and I'm not stressed about it. After speaking with Dr. Coogan, it all made perfect sense. Yes, it was going to take some discipline, but trust me, the results were well worth it. So if you're ready to take control and feel like your best self, go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com and book a 15-minute consultation. It changed everything for me, and it can for you too.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
We have a schedule. The Seahawks are opening the 2025 season at home with a divisional matchup against the San Francisco 49ers before they hit the road to take on the Steelers in Week 2. Bye is in Week 8. The Mariners have an off day today after losing that series to the Yankees, taking on the Padres beginning with the series tomorrow night. Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us in 30 to preview.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
Well, the Mariners are in a tough spot. They've got yet another starting pitcher on the 15-day IL list. The good news is that shouldn't be more than 15 days or so. Bryce Miller could come back pretty quickly after being eligible. That's according to Justin Hollander yesterday. In the meantime, you get some respite with an off day today. Is it respite or respite?
Respite.
Someone will text in and tell me. I'm saying respite. I think it's respite.
I like respite.
Yeah, whatever. You get a day off. You get some rest. And you've got extra innings from 7 to 9 tonight, so you can still get your Mariners fix. And then coming up tomorrow, beginning tomorrow, a tough series. Starts with Friday Night Baseball against the Padres. That's going to be on Apple TV. I'm telling you now so you know where it is. And then you're hoping that your offense can show up. Curtis mentioned, obviously, last break they were able to have Wu be in this series. He's coming off a spectacular start against the Yankees. But otherwise, this has been kind of a tough stretch. So before we bring Ryan on, he's going to join us in just a few seconds. Bump, I am now hoping that we can just see a little more from the offense in this one. Like, I know the pitching has been an issue this year, but what can you do? I'm not expecting Emerson Hancock or Logan Evans to have, like, the start of their lives. I'm just expecting that hopefully you get George and Logan back and Bryce and they're healthy. For now, who are you looking at?
In that rotation?
No, and in terms of just the rest of the team going, can we get a little more consistency from fill in the blank?
Yeah, more consistency, I would say it's almost like we've been beating this position up all year as first base, right? Like Rowdy had his stretch where he was looking good. Made a play last night too, actually. But no, it's first base, right? Because shortstop has been good. Second base has been awesome. I mean, it depending on who we put there, right? I'm thinking of Polanco there, but he's been DHing more so. But no, it's infield. Anywhere in the infield, right? You get those guys going, you should be good because Julio's having himself a good season. Arozarena's having himself a good season. Tavares has joined the squad, and my expectations are so low for him that I'm not really stressing his performance so far. So, yeah, it's infield, specifically the first base spot. We need production.
Let's start with the same question for Ryan Rowland-Smith. He joins us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Ryan, we're happy to have you. I was just telling Bump, pitching has kind of been an issue for this team, obviously, but I can't really turn to them in this series and say, what can you do? Because it's like, just make it through. I don't know, survive, like figure it out. Instead, you kind of are forced to look at offense. So I'll send you the same question with, when you're looking at this offense, is there someone in particular you're looking to go, I need more consistency from you?
Well, position-wise, I think you guys were doing a little bit on the position-wise. I think, first base, losing Luke Raley, was a big one because I feel like he was starting to get in a bit of a rhythm. I just think with, Rowdy Tellez, it's been a little bit of a bright spot early on, but only in little glimpses of that. So I will throw it towards first base. However, one guy that I'm a little concerned about right now is Ben Williamson. He, to me, looks lost at the plate. And I was maybe anticipating he was going to get pinch hit for in that last inning. But right now, he's feeling it. It's one of those situations as a rookie where you get comfortable You're in the honeymoon phase where everything's all good. You get to the big leagues and everything that goes with it, and families coming to that road trip or whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden the league adjusts to you because you're having some success. Now it's his time to adjust to them. So we're seeing a little bit of that, and seeing him get a little bit overwhelmed at times. So I know he's super talented, but if he's going to be the guy playing every day at third base, regardless of how much big league time he's got, you do want to see some more consistency out of Ben Williamson, that's for sure.
Random question. Is Jason Day your favorite golfer?
I was quizzing Brad Adam about this, about the highest earning Australian golfers. And he actually turned it around on me because I had no idea. But first of all, Greg Norman, the Shark, back in the day, I'm like, man, like I was all confused. I'm like, he has to be the highest career earner because all people talk about in Australia is how much money that dude has. But he's done it all on his clothing line, on he's built courses and the whole bit. And I was like, oh, the Shark, he's a legend. But apparently not. There's bigger career earners. I know the money changes a little bit over time. But honestly, Bump, with that question and that answer, I have no idea. I don't watch golf. I have no idea. I suck at golf. I'm terrible. Brad Adams, a hardcore golfer. He's got a new golf show on Root Sports, which is awesome. It showed last week, showing players playing golf with him, Mariner players playing golf with him. He's the golf guy, and he would know more about Australian golfers than me, unfortunately. I got to get out on the course, man. Bump, do you play? You a big golfer?
I'm out there.
We didn't
I'm
know.
out there more than I should be, honestly, Ryan. More I should be. But
well, you got to take me out, and I got to figure it out, man.
Yeah, let's go get it. I'm sure it'll be fine. Pitchers, kickers, and quarterbacks figure it out somehow. I don't know how you guys do it.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal with baseball, man. Let me tell you.
It is. But back to baseball. Yeah, I had to. I mean, the PGA Championship was on. I had to ask my guy about Jason Day.
Fair.
Yesterday, you and I had a good conversation after the game. You know, we're just talking ball and all that good stuff. And you were telling me how you can tell when a pitcher is just in the zone and you're feeling it, the body language or whatnot. Yeah. I felt like we saw some of that from Castillo last night. What did you see out of him, and how was he able to kind of find his groove?
Yeah, and we had a great chat about it, and I hear you, and it was good. It gave me some optimism for this rotation, because that's been the weak spot in this team. Now with Luis Castillo, him and Bryce Miller, I sort of put him in the same bucket, if you will, in regards to feeling a little bit mentally, that's for sure, early on in the year. Now, with Luis Castillo, if you watched the game yesterday, you noticed the first couple innings, first of all, pitch usage, he's going to what I called, and I said this to you yesterday, and you were nodding your head. Hopefully it made sense. But that safety net pitch is that slider of his. It's like this pitch that, all right, my fastball, I might not feel 100% about it, and that's a challenge pitch, that fastball, middle of the plate and up. So what I'm going to do instead, because I'm not quite feeling it, I'm going to go to that slider because I can get some weak contact. I can change speeds on you a little bit with that pitch. And he was going slider heavy. And then all of a sudden, in the third inning, and I love this, man. It's amazing what happens when you can turn that corner. He blows the doors off Aaron Judge, who, by the way, was just getting eaten alive by some of the sliders when they were keeping him at bay. And then he goes fastball, middle of the plate, and and we talked about this, Bump, right? That little recoil when he throws it and bounces off the mound. He's got that recoil in his arm. Saw it from Gabe Spire that first night the second night against the Yankees too. And I'm looking at it, oh, here it is. And then Cody Bellinger comes up. And by the way, Cody Bellinger has handled 95, 96, middle and up in part of the strike zone with ease this year, if you look at his numbers. And there's Castillo, just wham, heater at the top of the strike zone. Bang, did it again, 96. And you can just see that the non-verbals in between the pitches from him saying, oh, there it is. Okay, that's when baseball becomes fun. That's when pitching becomes fun. So you saw that from Luis Castillo. And then from the fourth inning, fifth inning onwards, he just kept making pitches, man. It was awesome to see. So I'm not saying, oh, hey, it's that one pitch and all of a sudden you walk away and say, hey, I'm good. But I think for Luis Castillo, because he always has that demeanor about him that he's always in control. You know how like when Kobe would get, he'd foul or look at the ref and all of a sudden he's got that smirk on his face. It's like, bro, you're about to get fouled out. Like, what are you doing? And he has that smirk. Derek Jeter had the same thing. Well, Castillo has the same thing. Woody will walk out to the mound, runner on second, and he's just got this smirk on his face like, hey, I'm all good. And it's just like, man, I never had that. And he has that. He hasn't had that recently, but he started to show a little bit of that. and it's not so much in the zone, it's just flat out, look, I've got 3 pitches that are going to beat you, and that's when Luis Castillo is at his best, because that's what he has. He does have that. So it was good to see yesterday.
I want to get back to Ben Williamson, just a really quick follow-up. You said that he looks lost. I think you're right. It's obvious. You can see it from the numbers, and it's also not uncommon at all for rookies, something else that you mentioned. You said that the league adjusts to you. How have you seen the league adjust to Ben, and how do you think he needs to adjust back?
Yeah, I think, first of all, and the reason I'm putting, I sound like I'm being harsh to Ben Williamson.
Not at all.
No, because look, he's a stud, man. I love the way he hits. He's going to be really, really good. Like, he is going to put up ridiculous numbers in the big leagues. What I mean by that is this, right? So, and he's been pretty vocal about it, and it's a situation when you're a rookie and you come up and you have success right away. And he did, man. He was just handling plus pitches. And the approach was anything, hard. And he told me this straight up. Anything that's hard, like, any fastball, whether it's still middle in, middle away, he shoots that ball to right field, right center field, right? And then what he tries to do is pick his spots. When he sees that breaking ball spinning out in front of him, he just lights up, and that's when he tries to pull a baseball. And so what happens is now if he wasn't having success or 96 up in the zone and getting doors blown off, it's going to take 60 plate appearances before someone adjusts you. However, when you're having success, you're in the lineup every day, and you're making an impact, what happens is the league starts to go, we have to pay more attention to this guy because he's good. He's really good. And so what happens is they start building that book way faster and putting their more resources and their time consumption into building an attack plan against a guy like Ben Williamson. So what I've noticed, he's getting pitched down and in way more, and the breaking balls are way higher quality early in the count. He's showing a little bit more aggression early in the count. He's showing that he'll commit to a breaking pitch, which is going to be down below the strike zone. And so then what happens in turn with that, it's like, all right, Ben, don't change your approach, but change guessing right. In other words, the best hitters in the game, and this goes back to Manny Ramirez and Jose Ramirez, right? With the Cleveland Guardians. I'm trying to use different examples here from different generations. They go up to the plate saying, all right, when you get me at a 1-1 count, there's a very high chance I'm going to get this pitch. Now, if I see it in a certain spot, like a spinning breaking ball, I'm going to see it in up and away because that's how you like to shape that pitch, and I'm going to get after it. Now, if I see that same pitch because you're going to try and attack me with that pitch, but it's down a little bit, I'm going to have the ability and the discipline to lay off, right? And that's obviously really simple. So I think Ben right now he's been a little aggressive early. They're starting to pitch him a little harder inside, and then also spinning breaking balls below the strike zone, whereas a couple of weeks ago he was getting balls spun in the strike zone. So look, he's going to be totally fine, man. And I just think that at the moment, he's just getting a little bit more exposed early on in counts. But I love the way he hits. Don't change. I love the way he plays defense. He's going to be here a long time, and I'm looking forward to watching him adjust.
Ryan, these guys have won one out of their last 6 games, right? And the series with Toronto, I chalked it up. Look, that's going to happen. There's no way they're going to keep winning series after series after series. This series with the Yankees, I looked at it and said, all right, you got caught the first game, and, they had an explosive, 5th or 6th inning. And then the last 2 games, you were in the mix. I don't feel bad about the squad right now. I feel like they're going to be fine. Obviously, we have concerns about the pitching or whatnot, but when you look at these last 2 series, I mean, we got people on the text lines who are losing their mind right now. Like, where do you stand with this squad after, winning 1 out of the last 6?
Well, in amongst that series, Bryce Miller hit the IL, and that was really concerning, right? The fact that, he said he's dealing with some elbow stuff, which is concerning because, he's taken a step back here in the early stages. Team, in my opinion, when it's all said and done, when we're talking 3 months from now, it has to be the foundational piece, has to be the pitching. And the reason I say that is because, you mentioned that Blue Jays sweep. They ran into late in games, and I'll run some numbers by you in just a second, but late in games, they ran into some guys who can make you swing and miss, and that got exposed a little bit late in games. So that was a little concerning. Now, I've said to you guys, I think I said this last week, you don't need that offense to be a top 5, but you do need that pitching to be above average. Right now, the starting rotation with all the injuries and everything, I'm saying performance-wise it's below average. However, the outlook right now is going to be well above average, with George Kirby coming back soon, Logan Gilbert hopefully coming back. I obviously can't promise you anything, not that I know anything that you guys don't know. And then Bryce Miller. But the offense, some numbers that were a little concerning over the last 6 games. They had, obviously the swing and miss went up, the on base went down, the walks weren't there, home runs. But the thing that you noticed, they smashed teams early. They hit starting pitching really well. But more so recently, when you look at the strikeout percentage and you look at the on base, batting average, contact percentage from the 7th inning onwards, it just plummeted. After that Athletics series, it went from, the strikeout rate went from, they were around 20% 7th inning onwards, which is insane. It's really good. Remember, you're going to have tougher swing and miss guys later on in the games. That went up to over 30%. Then you have the on-base percentage, guys at the bottom of the lineup who just wore you out. Rivas, Ben Williamson as well. That on-base percentage went from a good 350 7th inning onwards to 250, 240. The contact inside the strike zone. I mean, I can rattle off numbers all day. And so to me, I was looking at that saying, okay, this is a good offense that can handle plus pitching late in games. But they ran into the Blue Jays. They ran into the back end of a Blue Jays bullpen, and they ran into some really tough swing and miss with the Yankees. So they got a little exposed there, which is a little bit concerning. But look, if the offense can carry this team just long enough, and doesn't have to be that long, you get a Kirby back, man, I'll be so happy to see him back in this rotation. I can't tell you. Then you get a Logan Gilbert back. Then you hopefully get a Bryce Miller with a clean slate, mentally, physically. The pitching will carry this team.
I don't know if I have enough time for a follow-up. So if this is
I'll be quick. I know I ramble.
If it's too much, well, no, it's a little bit of a follow-up on that.
Yeah.
Is it just the quality of some of the bullpen arms that they ran into, or is it that they were overperforming your own expectations in that kind of performance from the 7th onward?
I think if you look back, well, a couple things, and they did it to themselves, that if you stay close in a game, you're going to run into a really hard back end of the bullpen, and they had some close games, right? Yankees and then Blue Jays. Blue Jays are top of the top of the charts in when you're talking swing and miss. The Athletics, they had close games, but those guys, they didn't have the swing and miss or the bullpen caliber to overmatch you.
Okay.
And so that was a little bit more of that. And look, they're going to run into tough bullpens. Don't get me wrong. Sure. Right? They're going to run into tough bullpens. But a good offensive team, they smash you by 6 to 7 runs. They don't play close games. And number 2, they handle that plus pitching late in games.
He is Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, why are you even more excited about the Summer Olympics?
I'm excited because the NFL, the owners, they're coming together and trying to figure out if they are going to allow their guys to play in the Summer Olympics. Flag football is going to be a part of the 2026 Summer Olympics. And initially, it was only allowed, or the only players are going to let do it were the international players. You can go play for your country. But now they're having conversation. They're talking about the field has to be in certain conditions, all this stuff. There has to be a salary cap integrity.
No, we're talking about America is what we're talking about.
Exactly. So they're trying to figure out a way to allow these NFL players to play in the Summer Olympics. And I love that. Let's not go back to the Olympic days when only college basketball players were allowed to play in the Olympics. And then you got Russia beating us and everybody talking a smack. We got to let them know from the jump, this is our sport. Put your best guys out there. Could you imagine seeing Joe Burrow toss it to CeeDee Lamb or Pat Mahomes, and then you have it's just, you want those marquee names out there. I want to go out there and dominate. I want it to feel like Barcelona when Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson went out there and beat the Carpenters over there in the Olympics. It was smashed them by 60 points. That's what I want to see, and I think the owners should allow these guys to go out there. As long as they're protected, as long as there's a way out if guys were to get injured, so be it. So they're having conversations. I think that's good.
Second down. Other than the Seahawks, what Week 1 matchup are you looking forward to?
I'm really excited for this one. It is Cam Ward against Bo Nix. You got Tennessee Titans against the Denver Broncos. I went back and looked up Cam's numbers against the Oregon Ducks. His 2 years with the with Washington State, and he put up crazy numbers but never beat them. And Bo Nix obviously has the most starts, or second most starts now. I think Dylan Gabriel has the most starts in college football when it comes to the quarterback spot. I just want to see the future of the NFL, and I think this is going to be a great matchup, man. They play week 1 at 105. Tennessee is going to Denver. You got the Ducks against the Cougs / Hurricanes. I want to see that happen. So, yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Third down. I like this question. What team is making you an even bigger hater? You're getting even better at being a hater.
I mean, I'm getting really good, and they make it easy.
Yeah.
The dang Cowboys.
Yeah.
They got 6 primetime games. 6 primetime games.
Of course they did.
And they're going to be a barely over 500 team, but they make it easy to hate. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are going to be on primetime, and everybody's going to watch. I'm going to watch if I'm not working, and even if I am working, I'm going to have my iPad up. I'm going to be checking this out.
They're going to lose in 4K.
In 4K, exactly.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 years, I think they're 8-4 when it comes to primetime games, so they actually play pretty well on primetime. But yeah, man, I saw that, and it's a record. Like, it's never been done before. 6 primetime games. These guys, for that organization, I believe the Jets had like 7 the year that Aaron Rodgers was there. But this is the most for the Cowboys, and it's mostly Thursday night games too. So their schedule is going to be a little weird. But yeah, the Cowboys, man, they find new ways every year to make me become a even bigger hater.
But it's kind of fitting, and it's fair in that case, because even though they have one of the biggest fan bases, a big media market, like, you completely understand all of it. You get what the league is doing. We get what the league is doing, you know, when it's the Jets or the Giants, when it's the Cowboys. God forbid the Chicago Bears ever become a powerhouse. Then the same thing's going to happen. But it still makes you go, but I'd rather watch some other teams.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Show me somebody else.
Fourth down. What team are we adopting this year?
All right, Stacy, we do it every year. I mean, Baltimore has been our baby for a while.
Right.
And then I think we rocked with Houston for a little bit as well.
Yeah, we picked wrong.
All right, we did. This year, I need your help with this one.
Okay.
There's 3 teams that I need to pick from.
Okay.
1, Tennessee Titans, for obvious reasons, Cam Ward. 2, the Atlanta Falcons, because your boy Penix. 3, I know you're not going to rock with this one. And I told this kid, I go, you're going to make me watch this team play.
It better not be the New England Patriots.
It's the Patriots, because my boy Afton Chisholm is over there. So we got 3 teams to choose from. I already know which one you're going to eliminate. Initially, it's the Patriots are gone.
Yes.
I'll root for them on the low.
Okay, good.
Because my boy's over there.
Please keep that behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. So now it's the Titans and the Falcons.
Here's the thing. Mike Lefko is already a fan of the Titans.
Okay.
And I feel like we can't be stealing his fandom. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like he kind of has to be like a martyr and like the only one. You know, like it means more if he's the only one suffering.
For sure.
I feel like we have to then go with the Falcons.
Okay. I'm not mad at the Falcons. I know Penix is a dog, but his name is Michael.
Right.
And Michaels are great people in the history of humans. So I'm going to go with...
there have definitely been bad Michaels.
There's Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson, Michael B. Jordan. Just saw Sinners the other day. Good movie. Michaels are everywhere.
You guys think of bad Michaels? There's been bad Michaels for sure. There's absolutely.
Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a serial killer or two. I got to do.
But
some
you can't
Googling.
think of any.
No, not right now.
All the
I can
Michaels
think of
that
is
you know
Ted
are great.
Huh?
They're all great.
I don't. There's a bad Michael for sure.
You can't name one off the top of your head though.
No,
That's how you know.
it'll come to me. No, hang on, just give it a minute. I'll do some Googling. Coming up in the timeline, an explosive story about Caleb Williams as part of a new book making headlines this morning. That's next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
For some people that are just committed to being mad at the team or they stink, you just wait. You know, they're desperate to be right about them not being good. So this was their first chance to go, see? Yeah, there's the real team. I'm like, so the real team is the one we saw in these 3 games and not the previous 9 series.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here to talk to you about Silver Reef Casino. Man, hop in your car, nice, easy drive, go north on I-5, get off on exit 260. That's where you will find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away and recharge, get with your family, your friends. Just have a good time, man. Go to the rooms. Have deluxe king rooms with great views. The Wi-Fi is free, and they have tablets as well. When you're done there, go downstairs. Have lots of options for you to eat, man. You go to the steakhouse. I went there. It was great. Also, the cantina if you want some Mexican food. And also, play 18 holes of golf at Loomis Trails Golf Course. There's water everywhere on almost every hole. It's crazy. It's fun. You're going to like it. And also, they got great events. They got the Beatles versus the Stones coming up. So, look, you want something to do this weekend or next weekend, whenever, go up I-5, exit 260, Silver Reef Casino. If you're feeling FOMO, don't worry about it. I got you covered. SilverReefCasino.com. Go there. Book your stay today. That's SilverReefCasino.com.
John Curley here. Smart homeowners are upgrading heat pumps and air conditioners now before the summer heat wave with incredible rebates and discounts that'll save you up to $6,000. Home Comfort Alliance makes paying easy with 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance today for a free quote and save up to $6,000. For your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body?
Huh?
That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
I've been scrolling through a list of famous Michaels, and it's just like nice people,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
Or like people that are like, maybe they've had controversial moments, but not bad, like a Michael Phelps.
Exactly.
Like, oh, just one of the most accomplished Olympic medalists ever, all time.
It's what we do.
Michael Bay, he creates movies with lots of explosions.
It's what we do.
Ah, man.
I
Michael
bet you
J.
can.
Fox.
I bet you can find some bad Stacys.
No, you can't.
I bet you can.
There's not a lot of
Stacy
Stacys.
Dash.
How's she bad? She's just
She's-
controversial. But
Okay.
she played an iconic character one time in an iconic
She
movie.
did. Yeah.
So
Timeless.
there's not a lot of Stacys out there. We're a rare breed, like unicorns.
Stacy.
Let me get to the timeline. This is a pretty controversial story making headlines this morning, and I find it really fascinating, and I'm curious as to whether you guys will too. Maybe you won't. I think it's really interesting. Explosive details have dropped about Bears quarterback Caleb Williams' rookie season in Chicago. This is from a new book written by ESPN's Seth Wickersham. The part that's really making the rounds is that in the book, Wickersham, who interviews Williams' father, Carroll, and Caleb, talks about how Caleb Williams did not want to be a Bear. Not only did not want to be a Chicago Bear, but that he and his father were considering moves to avoid being drafted by the Bears. So they talked about, you know, can we demand a trade? Can we have Michael not declare for the draft, play for the USFL, and then become a free agent and sign with any team? Can we, like what can we involve lawyers?
Mm-hmm.
Like what can we do? And so obviously the conversation being had this morning is about just how controversial that is. Like, are we going to see another version of what Archie Manning, or what Eli Manning did, and see someone successfully get their son to a different team?
I think eventually you will. And because of the power that these young athletes have now, they're not desperate to get into the NFL anymore, right? Caleb, when he came out his junior year, if he were to stay another year, he'd make $2 to $6 million playing college ball. So there's no they're not as hungry as they used to be to get to the NFL. And now there's this influence. They have more influence. And I think the route that they were considering is probably the route that eventually someone's going to go. You go to the UFL, play in that league. If it hangs around, UFL numbers are down tremendously this year, down from last year. So we'll see how long this league lasts. But if there isn't another option to play in a different league, you go to that league for a year, and then you enter the draft when you feel like you like the team who has the number one pick. It's weird to even talk about this because when I was coming up, you just play for anybody. You don't care. You just want an opportunity. But there are only a few athletes every generation who have this type of power.
Yeah.
And Caleb had that type of power because he's the consistent number one pick. I don't even think Cam Ward had that type of power this year, right?
No,
'Cause he's not as talented
no.
as Caleb Williams, right? You can be the number one pick, but it's all about how you're viewed and the influence that you have. And Caleb was one of those guys. So I think eventually you see it, but I don't think it's going to be something that happens often.
It may end up being less explosive in the book itself. Again, it's written by Seth Wickersham, and it's called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. It's not coming out until September, so there's been little things being released about it, and it's going to have a ton of new stories and details about several quarterbacks, current, former, et cetera, including some college quarterbacks. I think it's going to be an interesting read, but I want to find out more about this specific story just because I think that you're right. Eventually, this will successfully happen. So Caleb and his father decided, this is going to be too messy. We can't do this. This could backfire and really hurt Caleb's career. If we try to get the Bears to force a career and badmouth the city of Chicago and do all these things, and then the Bears refuse to do this, well, then he's just in this super hostile environment and people are rooting for him to fail. Then it just backfires. So they ultimately decided, maybe we turn this franchise around, and that's kind of what they settle on. I'm sure that's where the chapter ends. But you're right. Someone will try to do this because what's going to happen is at the college level, you're going to see this growing feeling of I'm a brand. I'm more powerful than a team. I'm more powerful than any of these things. It's not just like, oh, I'm so fortunate and lucky and happy to go to a team that's drafting me. It's I'm already a business and I don't want to make a bad business merger.
It could happen as soon as this upcoming draft. Arch Manning could be
Exactly.
the number 1 overall pick. And what happened the last time Manning
His
went number 1
grandfather
overall?
successfully maneuvered, figuring out a way to get his uncle to a new team.
Right, yeah. Eli drafted by the Chargers. They said, we're not going there. Get straight to the Giants. I don't know if Arch Manning would go that route, but it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, interestingly, it could be a team that he may want to go to, who's at the top of this, and Carroll Williams, Caleb's father, was especially concerned about the Bears. It's not just like any other team. It's the Bears are an organization that kill quarterbacks. Like, my son can't succeed here.
Yeah, or look at it as a challenge, man. Accept the challenge. That's one thing I think is going to be lost in a lot of athletes now coming up is that you don't always take the easiest road. Right? Do something no one's done before. Be the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history. You have the talent to do it. And I bet they're looking at the situation now and they feel better about it because I applaud the moves that the Bears have made to ensure that Caleb has the his best or the best opportunity to be great. So no, man, that's I get trying to protect your brand and thinking you're bigger and wanting to put yourself in a good situation, but also change the game. Do something no one has done before. That's something we need to preach more to these kids rather than, oh, it's tough. It's not ideal. Let's figure something else out for you. It's soft, man.
So a question for you that I think you may have answered with your final line right now. Is there a part of you that's kind of like a get off my lawn moment where you see stuff? Because I'll admit that even I have those parts where I go, I'm all for, players having, more power at the college level where it felt immoral at times.
Mm-hmm.
The money that was in college sports, the money in coach contracts, and that a player could be punished for accepting a free dinner somewhere. You know what I mean? So, but I also find myself kind of doing some eye rolling at a sense of entitlement that at times it's like, I get if you're entitled, if you're wildly talented, ego isn't uncommon. Right? Especially with football families, like that Curtis mentioned, Archie Manning is going to have a massive ego just by virtue of being who he is. But I don't know, man. There's a part of me that's like, the idea, it's just not my generation. The idea of like, I'm a brand is just, it turns me off.
Well, you have to, it turns me off too, but these kids are also just a product of their times, right?
For sure.
They're coming up in a time where you can make money off your name, image, and likeness. You could be a millionaire before you make it to the NFL. Like the path to financial stability is a bit different for these kids nowadays. You can make millions making dumb videos on YouTube and TikTok or whatnot, right? It just works differently. And we have to understand that and accept that. But also we have to understand that the trials and tribulations that someone goes through as a young person is just going to make you tougher later on in life. So everything's not going to be ideal. And if we keep raising these kids to only put themselves in fluffy situations, when life hits you for real, when it gets tough, they're not going to know how to respond. So I get it. I got to applaud them and encourage them to make their money. But also, we got to understand that sometimes, man, your back's against the wall. You gotta learn how to move. So it's more difficult for these kids these days than it is for us because there's so many other influences and so many other avenues,
of course.
So I respect them, but also like, come on, let's not make it too easy for these kids.
It's just kind of like the life of the NFL. Like, how many NFL players have gone on to be number one picks? I'm glad you mentioned Cam Ward earlier. He's going on to a bad Titans team and may see his career derailed by going through multiple offensive coordinators, multiple head coaches. I mean, it's a young head coach there, so who knows? But like, this happens to first-round picks a ton.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of guys who have been busts who probably just were in horrible situations for years and never got a chance to develop. In fact, we know that that's true.
Yeah.
And the lucky few find ways to thrive, or maybe their talent is so exceptional that they overcome those obstacles and succeed early. But that's just kind of like what happens, man. You're a number one pick.
All this stuff today that has come out from the Seth Wickersham book about Caleb Williams has me thinking back to last draft season where there was that rumor that Caleb Williams and his family wanted a piece of like equity in whatever team it was that was that took him. And like we all kind of scoffed that, like, no, that can't possibly be right. Like, that's nothing a draft prospect would ever ask for.
Or is it?
Now I'm kind of thinking back, I'm like, wait a minute. Like maybe that was something that Williams' family did in order to maybe, keep the Bears away from him or something. It doesn't seem as outlandish now, knowing what we know from this book.
I can't wait to read this book. Let's see. We don't have time let's see if we can get to this maybe tomorrow or a bit
We can put it in
later.
NFL headlines.
Yeah, we'll get to our next. We've got an interesting back and forth with Mel Kiper still melting down about Shedeur Sanders. We'll get to that in NFL headlines. Coming up at noon, we're going to take your calls. What game are you most looking forward to on the Seahawks schedule? And if you're brave enough, you can make your record prediction again coming up at noon.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
I
are
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Hey 12, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at MuckleshootCasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Michael Bumpus here, and have you ever thought, I'm not good enough to get a golf handicap, or I don't play enough golf to get one? Maybe you just like to have fun and don't think you need one. Think again. Any golfer, whether they're highly skilled or just starting out, can get a handicap. It can turn any round into a competition, for fun, or for a club trophy. You can get a handicap in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, boom, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right. Again, we're taking your calls at noon. Which game are you most looking forward to on the Seahawks schedule? It's a super easy question to answer, a really fun question to answer. And if you want, as part of your answer, you could toss in, like, hey, by the way, I think they're getting 9 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins. I don't know that anyone's going to text in with like a low win total prediction.
Somebody is.
No, I don't think
haters.
so.
Someone's going to text in with a low one.
It's going to be like a Seahawks fan that's really even like the lowest win total I expected from this team was after trading Russ, when I don't know about 5 wins, but I was not expecting in any way a winning season.
What they get, 9? 9 and 8.
9 and was that still a 9 and 7? I can't remember. But yes, 9 wins. So, I don't know. I have less faith in Sam Darnold, but it's because I haven't seen it before. Like I had no faith that Geno could be a great quarterback or a really solid starter.
You had no faith? No, you had him as your starter.
I had him as my starter because I knew that Pete Carroll really liked Geno, not because I thought that Geno was going to be a great quarterback.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like, like Geno, I'm telling you right now, pay attention, Geno's going to be great. It was, hey, the national people are talking about how, it's a Drew Lock and Geno battle, and Drew Lock's going to be the starter when Geno's taking every first-team rep in OTAs. So that was more of what it was. It's like, are you guys crazy? Pete Carroll loves Geno Smith.
You didn't really believe in him.
I didn't.
I get it.
Did you?
I didn't think he'd be as good as he was. I thought he'd just be a guy for a year. I didn't think he'd put in 3 years. Yeah, I didn't think he'd get 3. So no, I thought he'd be a bridge guy, which he was a bridge guy, but he was a bit better than your average bridge guy.
So, am I being too harsh on Sam Darnold then? And again, I didn't have faith in Geno Smith. I didn't think Geno Smith would be like a comeback player of the year. I thought the book is written on Geno Smith, and then I kind of changed my mind and thought, you know what, he's performing so much better than I thought he would, especially given the lack of consistent protection he gets.
Yeah, and I don't think it's unfair to question whether Sam Darnold is going to be the guy. No, I think that when you haven't seen it consistently, what do you believe in? That's why when the Mariners come out and they have, they're 5-6 games over 500, you haven't seen that before, so people are naturally going to be like, yeah, whatever. Let's wait until later on in the season to believe. That's how I feel about Sam Darnold, man. I think he has the capabilities, obviously, if he's surrounded by the right people. if he has the right offensive coordinator. Sam is an if quarterback, and Mahomes like a win quarterback. Like when he's on the field, he's going to ball. And Sam's like if he has A, B, C, and D, he has a chance to do it. So I think those thoughts are fair.
Yeah, I'm still expecting a similar season. This is what I was thinking. So I saw a Jackson Bevins, friend of the show, friend of ours, tweet out that he thought that they would get 9 wins. And he got a little bit of flack from people who were like, oh, you're being too hard on them. And I thought, that feels kind of fair. Like, I think that they could have another 10-win season. And I get that the conversation, if that happens, is going to be, well, where was the step forward? Maybe they make the playoffs with 10 wins. They were the only 10-win team to not make the playoffs this past season. So you are in wild card territory, when you get to that double-digit win spot. But I think it's very much possible that we see a similar season. They have an easier schedule, but
yeah.
I guess I'm not as down on that. I don't feel quite as stuck because you've got a new coach, you've got a new scheme, you've got a new offensive coordinator, you've got new talent. It doesn't feel like the same stuck in limbo feeling, even though it would be a similar record.
Yeah. What was it? A few weeks back, I said,
oh, yeah, you got flack for this.
Oh, they were on my head.
Yeah, they were.
I was like, look, man, I could see them winning 9 or 10 games, but could see where they're improving and where they're going. And people are so caught up just on the win column, which is, it's like the big stat. It's the obvious stat. It's like batting average in baseball, right? That's the basic big stat, but then you dig deeper, you start looking at other stuff, and you find that, okay, this player might be better than what his average is. And that's how I view football. It's all right, I see your win total, but I'm also the type of person who looks at progress, like where are you heading, right? When you start drawing a picture, my daughter draws, right? And she like draws for real. So, us, we just freehand, we'll draw some stuff. Like she draws the shapes of the body first and then adds the clothes, then erases the shapes.
Like skill.
Yeah, she draws, technique. Right? Yeah. So it's like, okay, I kind of see where you're going. That's the way I look at a football team is I'm just drawing the shapes first. And I'm trying to get an idea of what this team wants to be and what they can be. And then as you progress and you pick up a few guys, a rookie balls out here, you find your quarterback, then you start to really erase the shapes and draw the picture. That's the way I look at this football team. People want them to be good right now, which is a fair expectation because I think they have the tools in place to be good right now. But it just doesn't work like that all the time. You got to draw the shapes before you really get into it.
Can I give an argument that I don't want to say I'm tired of hearing? I don't want to sound like a hater. I just think it's a very incomplete argument. And I mean no disrespect to Joe in Bellevue. Regular listener, by the way, regular texter. Thank you for texting in. Who says, Sam had a better season than Geno last year. I see this so much, and it's like, first of all, I know. Secondly, these are two drastically different teams. Mm-hmm. Minnesota was a better team than Seattle last year.
Yep.
Minnesota had some of the same problems offensively, and the interior of their offensive line was kind of the weakness of their offense, and you saw that really highlighted in the final 2 games. You also saw Sam's issues highlighted in the final 2 games. And that narrative about him not being able to handle pressure was like really only super true there, and he had lots of great moments earlier. There's a lot to like about Sam Darnold coming to this team. I just think it's a little unfair to go, well, Sam's won 14 games. The Vikings did. And what we can, I think it's fair to say, I don't know exactly what Sam's going to look like here in Seattle. I don't think it's fair to think Sam's going to lead them to 14 wins. I think that's an unfair bar to set. And it's also unfair to imply that, like, well, who knows what Geno would have looked like with the Vikings? I have no idea.
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't think there's this vast gap between the two players.
What offense now, as many weapons as the Seahawks had last year, right? You're taking the Vikings offense over the Seahawks offense. You're taking Justin Jefferson over JSN and DK. You're taking their run game. You're taking their offensive line. So to say that, all right, well, Sam had a better year than Geno last year, so he should be better here, it's just it ain't fair because we know that most quarterbacks are only as good as the pieces that are around them and the coaching that they receive. Can Sam Darnold come over here and play like he did last year? It's a possibility, but we won't know because everything is so new over here. And that's what the draft is for, right? You're projecting that players are going to be good. That's what free agency is for. You're projecting that this player is going to come over here and do his thing. And when you're not a a for sure thing, like a Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, it's all a gamble, man. I think there are enough pieces here for him to have success, but how much success depends on a whole bunch of other stuff.
And I want to be pleasantly surprised. I have seen one really good, fun, encouraging season from Sam Darnold. From Geno, I saw 3 seasons that were solid. Nothing that like blew us away where it's like, oh my God, this guy is the answer. You got to keep him. But enough that it surprised me, and I thought, I know who he is. Like, I know who he's going to be year in and year out. I don't know if it's enough to take you to a Super Bowl, but like I know what to expect with this guy now.
Right.
With Sam, I don't. I have one. If he had 2 seasons back to back with Minnesota, I'd be like, ooh, wow. Well, like I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. But I just have some lingering questions. So if the floor for Sam is that he's who he was last year, fantastic. I can't wait to hear what your guys' answers are going to be for the win-loss record. But what if it's not? I don't know. Which game are you most looking forward to on the Seahawks schedule? 866-979-3776. Call now and add in your win-loss prediction if you want to as well.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious. They're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. You know, those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had of his late husband's. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Upgrade to an efficient heat pump AC now before the summer heat. And Home Comfort Alliance will save you up to $6,000 limited time savings. And you can take 18 months to pay with zero interest. Call for a free quote. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are off today, but you can still get your Mariners fix with the latest updates and a preview for their next series coming up at 7 p.m. at 7 to 9. Extra innings hosted by Curtis Rogers right here on Seattle Sports. The Mariners open up a series on the road against the Padres tomorrow. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Which game on the Seahawks schedule, now that we have it, released yesterday, are you most looking forward to? If you are confident, bold, brave enough, also tell us your win-loss prediction for the Seahawks for 2025, now that you know when these opponents are kind of going to be facing Seattle. 866-979-3776. Call right now. We're going to start with Will in Tacoma. Will, the game you're most looking forward to, and if you want to throw out a win-loss prediction, please do.
I think the game I'm most looking forward to is the Steelers game, and not even from like the DK aspect of it, but because the Seahawks offensive line and their special teams were their weakest point last season, and the Steelers were really good at special teams and have a really good defensive line. And as far as like the wins, I think we'll get 12 wins because we'll have a top 5 defense and a top 15 offense, and I feel like 12 wins is a really reasonable record for us.
Thanks for the call, Will. I really like Will's reasoning for the Steelers, and I also really like it because I feel like so many of my memories about this team improving are improvements that happen over the course of a season. Like, the defense last year kind of improved mid-season. When I think of the 2020 year where they were like really hot on offense and then cooled, the defense was god-awful and then improved over the second half. And it's been a while since I've been watching a Seahawks team and thought they really hit the ground running. Like they really hit the ground running, and you
thought
saw
that last year.
But then the run defense fell off after like 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't know, but they hit the ground running though.
They did hit the ground running, but it wasn't a real run. It was like a.
Well, we
they
thought
went
it was
100%.
real.
We thought it was real.
We thought it was real. Though.
I would love to see, to Will's point, something we've been waiting to see, and it happens early.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a good point.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It's you got to go off of what. You have to take into account what they did last year, especially towards the end of the year, defensively especially. and assume that they're going to build off of that, because I think they will be better. I think Tyrese Knight in his second year will be better. I think Nick Imawari is going to be an addition to this team. I think they still got to figure out that corner spot. If it's Josh Jobe, then I think you're okay. But no, it's about what they did last year, building off of that. So we can look at the defense and expect them to be better. The question is the offense. What is the offense going to look like?
866-979-3776. Jason in Everett. Jason, what game are you most looking forward to?
Stacy, Bob, how you doing today?
Good.
All right, what up?
All right. Well, first off, Stacy, I don't think this is a question. This is a very difficult question because of all the young talent that's going to be taking over at quarterback. But I do look forward to Week 14 against Atlanta. Big Michael Penix fan. I'm hoping he'll be starting, and also Bijan Robinson in the backfield. I mean, that's going to be a fun game to watch.
All right, love it. Week 14 against the Falcons. This is an interesting slate of opponents. We already knew what the outside divisions would be with the AFC South. And is it the NFC South as well, or are the Falcons a one-off? I can't remember.
NFC South.
Those would be like easier divisions. I think Seattle has like the 21st easiest schedule, 21st hardest, I guess. So one of the easier schedules, easier slates. I think that the point about young talent could potentially apply to both teams in this case. With Jason saying, it's hard to predict because there's so much young talent. The Falcons have Michael Penix. I have no idea what he's going to look like by Week 14.
Man, the more I look at this schedule, man, the more wins I see. Like there are no names on this schedule outside of the division that just scare you, right? Houston, nah. Jacksonville, nah. Tampa Bay, respect. Atlanta, respect. Indianapolis, who's your quarterback? Even Minnesota, what's JJ going to look like? Tennessee, young Cam. Washington might be the name that I look at and say, all right, let's see what they do. Can they build off of last year where there's talent there? But I look at the schedule, man, and it's not as intimidating as it looked last year. Last year, you had the Lions, who scared the heck out of you. You had Minnesota towards the end of the year. We knew who they were. Right in the beginning of the year, we didn't. Yeah, Buffalo on that schedule as well.
Lost all three.
Yeah, Miami, actually, I think did Tua play that game?
Nope.
No, but at the beginning of the season, we're thinking, all right, well, Miami could be a team. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I might go 11 wins now. I might go 11.
Okay. We've got 12 so far. I forgot to ask Jason what his was. 866-979-3776. The game you're most looking forward to, and then your win prediction for the Seahawks in 2025, now that you know when these games are actually going to be played. Robert in Issaquah. Robert, the game you're most looking forward to, and then if you want to, your win total.
All right. 49ers, because that's going to be a litmus test for both offense and defense. Just to see how good this team is going to be, because 49ers, and my win-loss, I go by Rubik's. As a team set a standard, and it's the Rams and the 49ers. So after watching last year, Mike, don't be pissed, but it's going to be 6-9. I don't see us, we're building, and we need to build a foundation first. I just don't see us going into the playoffs this year. Too many mistakes, what I saw last year from the coach, bad offense. I don't see an offensive line improving in 1 year.
Robert, I'm so surprised. What were the mistakes from the coach? Do you mean McDonald or from maybe like Ryan Grubb?
Both. Definitely both. The play calling was atrocious when we were playing good teams. I've watched that 49ers game. That was a blowout. It's just anytime we played a team that was considered a playoff team, we got crushed. So I'm not impressed with this team. And personally, I thought they should have showed Schneider the door when they let Pete Carroll go, too. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Robert. Robert, with just 6 wins in his prediction for Seattle, I think I can be a negative Nancy, and I got to say, Robert, that I would never guess that low.
First off, Robert called me Mike. Okay?
Oh.
Robert, I'm just messing with you. Look, his concerns are valid. I just don't think that it's going to pan out that way. His concerns with the offensive line are going to make that big of a jump. I get it.
Yeah.
You don't know what this O-line is going to look like. Is Grace Abel going to be the guy? Is Olu going to step up? Is Abe going to stay healthy? I think the only thing you can really count on this offensive line right now is Charles Cross. He's shown that he plays 98% of the snaps over his career.
Predicting this team would get 11 or 10 losses, 11 losses.
Yeah.
How many wins did he predict? 6 wins.
Yeah.
I like someone saying, am I crazy or a 6-9, 15? Yeah, that's a lot of. I just don't see a team that takes a massive step back.
No.
What
I
I
don't
see
that.
is a team that potentially struggles early on offense as they work to establish an identity. You have a massive step to take forward, no pun intended, with your run game. You might like, I was getting into a debate with someone earlier on the text line, you might like the personnel they have in the running back room, but this run game last year was one of the worst in the league.
It was one of the worst. With Robert, his logic is fine, but the results, I don't think is going to match it with what he's saying. But who knows? He might be right. But I haven't come across anybody who knows this game, who knows this team, and gives them less than 8 or 9 wins.
I don't know that I saw Robert's point with play calling for sure, but with Mike McDonald mistakes, I don't know that I saw.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any. I'm sure there were. I feel like there were a couple of times where I questioned a timeout or a challenge or something like that. But for the most part, there was nothing glaring that just stood out and said, what was he thinking?
No, I think bad coaching in the NFL is really obvious. When you're a horrific coach, it's obvious.
Like
your
the Bears.
players, exactly, or your players just don't respect you. So it's not just you're using timeouts horribly, you're making weird decisions, but it's clear that your players are just operating on a different plane. That they've stopped listening to you. It feels like they're doing different things. You're right. The Bears are a great example where it's like Caleb trying to call a timeout and being like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, obviously an example. It's clear when someone's a horrific coach.
Yeah.
And
Mike wasn't that.
I don't know that
I
Robert
get
was
the
saying
line
he
issues.
was. But
I need to see what that line looks like in this scheme. But I think off of what I see with the personnel with this line and what they want to do, I think the personnel matches the scheme better than last year.
Yeah. Let's go to Al in Oak Harbor. 866-979-3776. The game you're most looking forward to, and then your win-loss prediction. Al, what do you think? The game you're most looking forward to, and if you want to, your win-loss prediction.
The one I'm looking most forward to is the Commanders. I believe that's because it's that young and upcoming team, sounded like Michael upset. And gosh, I guess the guy that called before me thinks they're going to tie a couple of games with his prediction. So I'm looking to think that they'll have 11 wins. But the thing that concerns me most is the number of trips east.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
I believe there's 4 East Coast time frames, and that takes its wear and tear. And I know the team travels good. I know they've got the right philosophy and the methodology to get that most out of the team, but that takes a lot out of you, and that 6,000 miles back and forth 4 different times. So that's my biggest concern. In fact, that's probably more concerning than the Commanders.
Love the Commanders as a pick, and I love that we get to watch these two teams face each other. Jaden Daniels was so fun last year. Bump, what do you make of the 11-win prediction? It feels like that's kind of where you're slowly leaning now. And secondly, I didn't mention earlier to begin the show those 4 10 a.m. starts. Granted, 10 a.m. for us, but those East Coast road trips, early starts, their bodies are going to be on 10 a.m. time.
That's a 7 a.m. start for your boy. Ooh, in the studio early. It takes a toll, man. I think, honestly, I think that travel in those 10 a.m. starts are a bit overrated now. I think there's so much data, and Pete Carroll did such a good job of laying a foundation on how to do this that they will be okay. I understand the body's different. You feel like it's 10, all that stuff. But, and these are pros, man. We use that as an excuse when I played because we were garbage. All right.
So you'd be like, well, these East Coast road trips, what are you going to do?
We played the Giants and got smacked. We're like, we're just tired, man.
Yeah.
We're tired. No, we wasn't tired, man. We got there a day early. We got our sleep. Be a freaking professional. Go out there and play some balls. Not like this is soccer Saturdays when my kids are playing at 8 a.m. You know, like, come on. You'll be okay.
706, don't they have an amazing record for 10 a.m. games? Yes, they typically do. That's
why I think it's overrated. I think they figure something out. I think they'll be fine.
Always worth it, though. Look, I think that what Al's doing is what all of us do, which is you look at the schedule and you go, where are the things I'm maybe not noticing? You know, where are there back-to-back prime times? Where's the short week? Where's the a road trip back east and then maybe heading to the south? Like, where are the miles concentrated? Like, I think that's where you know that you're going to get into this season and there's going to be a surprising loss, or there's going to be a disappointing stretch of play, or there's going to be something where you go, what's happening here? And so you just try to get yourself ready for it and look and say, where's the disadvantage you can't control? And I don't see a ton for Seattle. I don't. I think this is a schedule with a lot of opportunity. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. But Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback right now. New Orleans doesn't either.
You're going to Jacksonville. You're going to Tennessee. You're going to Carolina. It's not like you're about to be on the road with some heavyweights, right? Obviously, you go to LA division. You're going to Washington. Washington has to prove it. I think I like what they're doing. I like Jaden Daniels. Debo's a great addition. They got to prove it. You're not going to be too bad on the road. I think the toughest game on the road should be Pittsburgh and outside of the division, Pittsburgh and Atlanta.
The toughest game on the road?
Yeah.
Well, Commanders.
Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Those are my picks.
For toughest
game on the road. Yeah, Pittsburgh and Atlanta. I got to wait. I got to wait and see if Washington is for real. Do it again. Yeah.
Michael Bumpus.
Do it again.
Stop.
Do it again. Ask me when we get there, but I got to see them do it again.
Stop right now.
How many times? What did Houston do? Houston Texans.
Their defense was one of the best defenses.
Doesn't matter. Rookie year. CJ Stroud. Oh my God, he's great. He's this, he's that. What happened in second year?
The offensive line fell apart.
Do it again.
What?
The same way we look at all these other teams and players when we haven't seen them do it consistently, we got to give Washington that same type of energy. Do it again.
Mine would be Washington and the Rams on the road in the same 3 weeks.
No, I said outside the division.
Oh, outside the division.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
I mean, shoot, we can go San Francisco.
Rams, Niners.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Jason texted in wanting me to know that his prediction was 12 wins. I didn't hear him. That might have been the most wins.
Yeah, that's the most I've heard so far.
With Robert, not a lot of faith. But you know what?
Robert said 6 and 9.
But Robert is the only one that can get. He said, we give up.
We're tapping out.
We get to December and we go, Christmas is around the corner. We're just trying to have fun with the family. It's been tough.
We're forfeiting.
We threw in an extra bye.
We love you, Robert.
We love you, Robert.
Hey, if we don't talk crap about you, that means we don't love you.
That's true.
That's how we show love.
That's true. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Aaron Judge's late home run gave the Mariners a 3-2 loss in Wednesday's series finale. What's the real headline?
Pitching to Aaron Judge has always been an error in judgment.
Bars.
Good job, Curtis.
Number 99. Let me tell you this. I tweeted this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Too many Yankees. I don't like it.
Too many Yankee fans?
Too many Yankee fans. I don't like it. And Curtis hit us with a text. It's like, Bump sound like he's from the South. Too many Yankees out there.
Too many Yankees up here.
I don't like
North
it.
of the Mason-Dixon line.
I don't like it. You know what was crazy, too? I saw like a pack of 10 Dodger fans at the game with Dodger uniforms on. I go,
You're in the wrong place.
I'm like, what are you?
No, you know why? Because
Like,
those
what are you
Dodger
doing?
fans, they're like, we went to one store. We got Dodgers hats, Lakers caps, Yankees caps, and we just kind of put them on. Yeah, we just go to these series.
Cowboys.
Y'all sound like some haters right now. With my LA hat on.
You know how
as
many
we
Lakers
speak.
fans were at that game?
No, man, that home run that Judge hit.
Yeah.
I clocked in at 117. It's the third, had the third highest exit velo this year. 120, I think, is the highest. I mean, it got out quick. There was no doubt about it. It was on a line. The launch angle was low. You see the outfielder, I believe it was hit to left field, right? So Rosarena was over there. He didn't even turn and run. That thing was gone, man. It's impressive to see Aaron Judge do his thing. What he went 2 for 4 the other day. He's impressive.
Frankly, egregious. Like, I just kind of got to a point where I thought, don't you get bored of hitting? You know what I mean? Are you not bored at this point of just really like launching? Granted, his only home run at the park, I think, for the entirety of the series, right? But yeah, we knew. This is the thing. You mentioned this earlier, so I'm stealing your point. We knew that the Yankees series would be tough. And nothing about this series was all that shocking at all. What was not great was the Blue Jays series that immediately, was before that one, and then you head into this, and now you're leaving going, you've won 1 of 6, right?
1 out of 6.
Yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Timberwolves are headed back to the Western Conference Finals after eliminating the Steph Curry-less Warriors. What's the real headline?
Can Seattle handle rooting for an Alex Rodriguez-owned team over OKC? Pick your poison.
Easy.
It is easy.
Easy. Anthony Edwards is something special. This dude plays the game with a confidence and an attitude that I want my kids to compete with. I literally have them watch Anthony Edwards and say, you see how hard this young man is competing. Win or lose, I don't care if you have success or failure. If you go as hard as Anthony Edwards, good things are going to happen. I want them to make it to the finals. I want the Knicks to make it to the finals. I want Jalen Brunson versus Anthony Edwards and the swap. Julius Randle was on the Wolves. He goes over to the Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns makes the flop. Julius Randle's on the Knicks. He goes over to the Wolves. You know, my flip-flop.
Yeah.
But, I want to see it. This has been a fun NBA playoff so far.
I'll just tell you what I won't be able to handle. I'm not going to be able to handle not just OKC winning, but then if we hear from Adam Silver something like, oh, well, the sale of the Trailblazers, has really become a priority for us. So we've kind of tabled expansion talks because, we were so worried about selling the Celtics and getting all this stuff done. And then, I'm not going to be able to handle just back-to-back kind of bummer stories for Sonics fans.
Why do they make it seem like they can't multitask? Like you go into
because they
meetings,
don't want to expand. Because the owners don't want to.
Do you just talk about one thing in that meeting? You can get things done. But no, the owners don't want to expand because they don't want their pockets to get hit.
Right, and they are unable to take a long-term look at it. But I guess when you're a billionaire and you're selfish and maybe you're like 80 and you're thinking, well, I don't want to wait until the profits I'm going to see in 10 years or whatever it is.
You're still going to be rich.
Yeah, but
you're still going to be rich.
I think it's just selfish. People with power don't want to give up power. They don't want to give up money. That's ultimately what this is.
Yeah.
I have not met a single NBA fan in my life who doesn't think like, oh yeah, cool, 2 more teams.
Why not?
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the first round of the PGA Championship is teed off today from Quail Hollow. We got, let's see here, Ryan Gerard leading after the first round, -5 today. Worst score of the day, +11 from 3 guys, including one Nick Ishii. I know you're familiar with him.
You're saying I could play in this tournament. +11?
+11.
Let's go.
That's big.
What's the real headline?
Bump, it's been nice knowing you.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now as we speak. I'm
You
not
are.
listening
You
to
have your
anything
iPad
you say.
up. I know.
I'm simply on autopilot right now. No, this is fun. Love the majors. Quail Hollow is a great course. Yeah, +11. If they're shooting +11 for the worst score, I'm shooting like +25. Like that's how long this course is. The roughs are thick. It's going down. I'm rooting for is it Spieth or Thomas that can complete a Grand Slam? One of those two. So I want one of those two to win, but I put my money on DeChambeau.
I have no thoughts.
Is this the tournament that Scotty Scheffler got arrested at last year?
I don't know.
Oh, he should make it an annual thing. And we just regularly have. What was, because he was trying to drive in, right? There was like a blockage.
Yeah, it was like
he
a
tried to drive
parking
through.
lot attendant that was getting really
real high on power.
It was a PGA Championship.
A year ago. A year ago
Never
on
forget.
Saturday.
Man, that was a year ago already.
Wow.
Man. And he was I'm sorry, sir. I was just trying to, do you know who I am? Like, come on, man. This guy's clearly on the tour.
Yeah.
You don't know Scotty?
Well, he's probably just, people were like, well, you can't be rude. He's probably just thinking like, I'm trying to get here.
He wasn't being rude. He was just trying to go to work.
Get out of here.
Well, then didn't the parking lot attendant grab onto the open window?
Yes, because then they tried to charge him with like,
yep.
God, to see it. Someone said the guy acted like he got run over.
Yeah.
I doubt that it was like a horrendously violent encounter.
It wasn't. There's videotape. It was very cordial.
509, owners get an expansion fee. You have to buy in. And that's what I just don't get. I don't get the trepidation. And there's clear trepidation. And I have a hard time understanding it. Is there something I'm not seeing?
No, I think you got it right. They just don't see the long-term investment. They don't want their pockets to get hit. And the rich want to stay rich. And they will. Because they're rich already. It's not going to hurt you that bad. Just get it done. Seattle Sonics. Let's go.
Mel Kiper is still melting down about Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. It's coming up next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Most of the lists I've seen for the Seahawks, at least in terms of where the league views them, have not been great. What are the encouraging signs?
The encouraging lists are top running backs of 2026 free agent class. Top right tackles in 2026 class. There's Abe Lucas. Top edge rushers in 2026 class. There's Boye Mafe. By position, you know what you see, Salk? A Seahawk. A Seahawk, a Seahawk, a Seahawk.
Every day at 7:45, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus 1 unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. At your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Sparta's Pizza reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Sparta's Pizza and Spaghetti House, serving the best pizza in the universe in Linwood, Bothell, Mill Creek, or online at spartaspizza.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See team for full details and disclaimer. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, Mel Kiper Jr. making headlines. He's still melting down about Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. It started with Miami head coach Mario Cristobal taking some pretty clear shots at Kiper's coverage of Cam Ward. If you guys remember, during the draft, Cam Ward is selected, and then there's just not enough attention paid, nearly enough attention paid, and then there's that trade, the Jags and Browns, and then they immediately talk about that. And it's, oh my God, are they going to take, what's going to happen here? I genuinely felt bad for Cam. He did not get a lot of coverage after the most amazing moment of his life so far.
Go Cougs.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Go Cougs.
This is from Brett McMurphy. Miami's Mario Cristobal said he spoke to 1 million people about number 1 NFL draft pick Cam Ward, except one. Quote, I can't recall many NFL teams or TV people I didn't speak to. However, Cristobal and OC Shannon Dawson never spoke with Mel Kiper Jr., who was criticized for overshadowing Ward's moment with his nonstop Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders narrative. Never heard from him, Cristobal said. I don't think I've ever talked to him. Cristobal added he wasn't disappointed by Kiper ignoring Ward. The only reason I'd be disappointed was if Cam was, he said. But knowing Cam, he just wanted to hear the name and exactly where he was going and get to work. Then Mel Kiper responded on Twitter, Bump. He said, Mario Cristobal claims he spoke to 1 million people about Cam Ward, yet the one he didn't speak to, being me, had Ward ranked higher, 6th on my big board, than any of the other draft experts. Interesting, isn't it? And oh, by the way, I didn't speak to Dion about Shedeur either. I need another Orange Crush after this nonsense.
Orange Crush sounds bomb. I don't drink soda, but
Mel Kiper Jr., just like the weirdest food and drink choices.
Yeah.
An Orange Crush with some pumpkin pie. That's what he had.
And why does it even matter? So what? He didn't call you or talk to you. It's his job to just entertain and put stuff out there. It's over with. Why are we even talking about this still? Cam went number 1. If anything, we should be highlighting the fact that he didn't get the cameras that he deserved when his name was called. That's about it.
Yeah.
Who cares what Mel Kiper said?
Yeah.
He doesn't determine who gets drafted where. It's up to the GMs and the head coaches.
I mean, Mel Kiper was kind of leading the charge on I just want to talk about Shedeur Sanders conversation.
Definitely
and I
was.
totally get it.
Definitely was.
And I do think that were this 3 weeks ago, a fair point would have been, I really wish that Cam would have gotten more attention. 0-star recruit, does this amazing thing, taken 1st overall, and all we can talk about is Shedeur. Now, Shedeur was a fascinating topic. When Shedeur started sliding, not just past the Saints, but continuing when the Rams traded back. No, Rams traded their pick and the Giants traded back in. When he didn't go in the 1st round, but then slid all the way to the 5th. Yeah, completely. It became the most fascinating story of the draft to me. But Cam got almost no moment. But that's also a bigger issue.
It's also
he wasn't the shiny.
He's not. His last name ain't Sanders.
Exactly.
His dad ain't Dion. He doesn't flash
and
the
that's
rollie.
bigger than Mel Kiper.
He doesn't drive a $2 million car. It's entertainment at the end of the day. And the more compelling story was Shedeur Sanders. Cam was a better quarterback. Knew Cam was going to go number 1. Cam is low-key. Look at the way he was dressed at the draft. Low-key. Everything about Cam is low-key unless you see some of his training videos. You can see his personality and how he's competitive or whatnot. But no, it's about entertainment, and people were more concerned about Shedeur Sanders than Cam Ward.
Was the onus then on Mel Kiper Jr. if he's truly got Cam ranked as the 6th biggest player on his big board to just dedicate a little more time? You know that Shedeur is not going to go at number 2. you know that trade was made for Travis Hunter. And I get if you're immediately like, oh my God, there was a massive trade, and maybe that naturally shifts the conversation. But did Mel owe more coverage, more talk for Cam?
No. You talk about what people want to hear about. And Cam Ward, go Cougs, love you. He just wasn't interesting. We knew he was going to go number one. The real question was, where's Shedeur Sanders going to go?
Fair.
So, no. And it's not just him. It's all over ESPN.
Oh,
Louis
I couldn't stop
Riddick, Wilbon, Stephen A. Like, all those dudes were fascinated with Shedeur Sanders. It's entertainment. No, you don't deserve anything. You went number one. That's all that matters.
Does the NFL know something we don't about the Steelers quarterback situation? Rich Eisen sure thinks so, based off their season opener against the Jets.
We're all waiting on a certain Malibu resident to say, I'm going to play football this year. It does appear that the National Football League believes Aaron Rodgers will be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Otherwise, why would they put the Steelers in the home of the New York Jets week one, right I can't wait off the bat? And then week two, DK Metcalf sees his former team, Sam Darnold, who had an option maybe to go to Pittsburgh, potentially, right there. Week four, you've got Minnesota in London, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pardon me, in Dublin against the Minnesota Vikings and the Steelers, and that is clearly a spot where Rodgers may have wound up. And then so on and so forth. By the way, it's week 8 that the Packers are in Pittsburgh right in the middle of the season.
Listen, I think that Rich is onto something. I'm not like a massive conspiracy person.
I think you are. I think you want to be, but
I'm not.
Something in you won't allow you to fully dive into it.
You mean like I want to be one, but I'm typically hesitant?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a super, I tend to think that sometimes life is boring and that things just kind of happen and we try to make sense of it by tying it to bigger conspiracy theories, and sometimes it just is what it is. However, Rich Eisen pointing out that the Jets and Steelers are scheduled to face each other.
NFL did this on purpose. That, oh yeah, you don't know if you're going to play this year, Aaron? Watch this.
Yeah.
Steelers at the Jets. Let's get it. It should have made that a Monday night game, honestly. They should have made it Monday night.
If the Jets and Steelers were facing each other in the first Monday night game of the season, would you think Aaron Rodgers is going to the Steelers? And this
Most
is just
definitely.
absolutely you still think
he's still
going
to the Steelers. Yeah, he's going.
What's taking so long?
I don't know. He's got to talk to his 2 friends that he has and figure something out. I don't get it. What's taking so long? Just get it over with. I don't know, Aaron. Text me. Let me know.
I think it's just a classic Brett Favre situation where Favre would continue to string people along up until like training camp. I don't think we're going to see a resolution with Aaron Rodgers for a while.
You know what I think a more interesting, I know Aaron Rodgers had the Enigma documentary. You know what I think a more interesting one would have been is profiling both him and Favre. And I know there's, interestingly, another one coming out on Favre, which I'm eager to see. But, like, they had such at times, a hostile relationship and are so similar.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, no, they're more alike than not, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe he learned it from Favre.
I don't know. Speaking of documentaries, ESPN has announced a 6-episode docu-series about the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs season. The Kingdom will debut this fall. And I know people are going to hate on it, but I'm watching
fatigue.
it.
I think I'm getting
Really?
Chiefs fatigue now. It's official.
Was it this that did it? Was it something else?
It was this. It's like, all right, enough now. All right. I don't dislike them the way I did the Patriots back in the day, or like the way I did the Pistons. But it's getting to be enough now. I don't need more documentaries. I don't even know if there has been a documentary about these guys already, but I feel like there have been like 2 already on the Chiefs.
I mean, Mahomes was in quarterback.
Maybe it's just Travis Kelce and
Chiefs
Taylor
stories
Swift.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. It's getting to be a lot.
This is my thing. The Chiefs can be interesting as long as the coverage of them doesn't feel like a constant commercial for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I do think when you talk about a team that's been in, every single one of the last 6 or 7 AFC championships, that's fascinating.
Every year that Mahomes has been the starting
Every single year, they have been in the AFC championship game. They have been in 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, something wild like that. Obviously, they have
5 of the last 7.
Yeah, that's insane. But I want it covered in a way that tells us something new.
There's nothing else to know about these dudes.
What if there
Mahomes,
is?
his
Not
brother,
cheating. I'm saying
his dad, his wife, his kids.
Why are
Travis
you
Kelce,
doing
Taylor
something that no
Swift,
one else has done?
Andy Reid. What else do we need to know
Why
about
are you
the
doing
Chiefs?
something no one else has done? Even Tom Brady didn't have that start.
I don't care, man. I'm done with the Chiefs now.
I want to know what's up.
What do you mean?
I want the behind the scenes. Like, is it
You're
this?
not going to get that. You're not going to get the X's and O's.
But that's what I'm saying. That's where I'd be like, man, this is fascinating. This does feel fresh. This does feel cool. Instead of just like, here's the Chiefs winning again. Oh, I saw this already. You know?
We just got to work hard.
Yeah, it's
show
like,
up every day.
We just got to make sure we keep showing up, Kels.
I'm done with the Chiefs.
I've seen it before.
Get them out of here. Follow the Cleveland Browns. I'm more interested in them.
I don't need a feel-good story about the Chiefs.
I don't.
I want an informational thing about the Chiefs.
You know what I want? I want to sit down with Andy Reid and go X's and O's. That's what I want.
You know what it is? I'm going to be so for real right now. I hated the ruthlessness of the Steelers, and everyone hated them for that. That ruthlessness is more interesting than just, we're so good we win. And it's so funny because people hated the Steelers for that for the longest time. They hated that they were ruthless and like really towed the line of cheating. And let's be for real, they did cheat. But like the people hated that.
Steelers cheated?
Excuse me, the Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah. But seeing the lengths that people will go to win is a more interesting, like it's a human behavior. That's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Than just kind of like, we just happen to be really good.
The best
and,
quarterback.
Yeah, we have a really good scheme. We've got one of the best play callers in the game, one of the best head coaches, the best quarterback.
Real quick, side note, remember when Bieniemy was over there with the Chiefs and he can't get a job?
I want to see that.
I saw a clip of him coaching up running backs. I totally understand why he did not get a head coaching job.
What was happening?
Dude is ruthless. You talking about ruthless?
Yeah.
Dude is ruthless.
What was he saying?
He's
in a most radio
cursing out the
friendly...
running back. Man, get your... It's almost disrespectful. Like, you can curse as a coach.
Yeah.
But it was, like, disrespectful, man. I get it now.
You know who's not cursing as a coach?
Who that?
Pete Carroll. I think he had, like, a swear jar or something like
Did he?
that. I don't know. Pete Carroll on coaching with the Raiders and why he wanted Geno coming up next.
Brock and Salk.
A quick question / maybe unpopular take.
Yes.
I totally understand graduation gifts in high school.
Okay.
Here's $100. Here's this. Here's that. Like graduation gifts in college.
Why not? Almost more so. I think that would make sense.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you talked about setting someone up for the rest of their life. For the most part, you're going off for high school.
I mean, they've done
kids.
that with their degree. Like, God bless them. You think it's appropriate, like, collegiate graduation gift?
Because then you're actually, like, going out to start a real life.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. You got nothing to do this weekend. Hop on I-5, go north, and get off on exit 260. That's where you will find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away and to recharge. They have great rooms, deluxe king rooms with views and all that. Free Wi-Fi. Tablets are on point as well. It's modern. When you're done, go downstairs, get something to eat. Go to the steakhouse. I got a steak. It was delicious. Also, go to the cantina if you're looking for some Mexican food. And if you're like me, I'm a golfer, man. Play Loomis Trails. They got 18 holes with water everywhere. Bring a lot of golf balls. Also, they got great events going down. The Beatles versus the Stones will be there as well. You got FOMO? Don't worry. I got you covered. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay today. They got something for everybody at Silver Reef Casino.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Discover LeBay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news this August. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest. It's now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pete Carroll was on with Brock and Salk yesterday. A lot to talk about. And we earlier in the show talked about Pete and that split with Seattle, what he says went into that. We might get back to it a little bit here, but time for the other part of that interview. Pete Carroll talked about coaching in Vegas and why he wanted Geno Smith. So let's jump back to it. First, we'll start with where the Geno trade talk started. There was a report that Pete was seen on a plane. I mean, he literally was on the plane, but was seen on the plane talking to Mike and John on the way to the scouting combine. And people were like, is that where the trade talk started?
No, heck no. No, I was trying to get that done from the moment this thing happened. I was hoping that we could do something.
Well, why? Why did he want Geno in Vegas?
What he demonstrated to me, this remarkable connection and spirit to being ready, knowing that the very next play he may be in the game. He never forgot that. And his resolve about that, I thought was so exceptional that when he got his turn, I was thrilled for him. And when we got our chance to go ahead and make him the starter, I believed in that too. And so this opportunity comes up, and we need a quarterback. And I mean, really, to me, it was just a classic opportunity for us to really transition, with the quarterback position, with the coach that they see eye to eye on everything.
This was also a move that made sense. Like, I did initially think Seattle might have been able to get a little more back, but otherwise, this was a good fit.
Yeah, And you hear the way he talks about Geno, like that's his dude,
Yeah.
man. It's like when you talk about one of your best friends or your brother or sister or something, you feel the love when he talks about Geno. And it's hard being a backup quarterback. He says he never lost the ability to prepare as if he's going to be in the next play. Like even as a receiver, right? When I played for the Hawks, man, I knew I was going to get like 20 plays a game maybe. And in certain situations, I knew I wasn't in. I'd log out. I'm like, boom, I'm out. You know, I'm not invested the way that I know. Like on third downs, I'm locked in because I'm a punt returner. I know I'm going to be in the next play. But if Nate Burleson and Deion Branch and Bobby Ingram are healthy, I'm like, I'm not touching the field. I'm just going to kick it here. So him having the ability to do that and to show Pete Carroll that he has that ability is huge. And then, you know, Pete was scheming the whole time. He wanted his guy Geno. He was scheming. As soon as he got that job, he knew what quarterback he wanted, and they got the deal done. I think it worked out for both parties, man. I think Geno wanted to be with Pete. Pete wanted Geno, and honestly, Schneider probably doesn't mind having a fresh start.
Pete talked about the similarities between the Seahawks and Raiders and the differences.
Well, it was very much the same, very similar, even to where I faltered at times because I just needed to do a really thorough job of making sure everybody was on the same page. We were connected because I had come from that where we were so tuned in, all aspects of the building. It's a big job to get everybody on the same page, and so it takes time. You know, it just takes time. And so, you know, it's hard to remember back to the first and second year that we were there in Seattle. But if you do remember that we made a bunch of transitions and we were just switching and flipping the roster to try to find out a way to make it a winning club. And we're in the same mode right now. It's just it just takes more time than I remember.
I thought that was really interesting. You think about being 14 years with one team, and by then you're thinking, like, it's a horrible analogy. Horrible. But I lived for the same place and in the same place for like 13 or 14 years. And you go to a new place and all of a sudden you're like, I forgot. I forgot what it's like to buy a couch, order internet service, like set all this stuff up. And what Pete's doing now is like, you know, I've been maintaining my culture for over a decade. Now I have to set up and establish a culture in a new place that doesn't know me like that.
I would assume, though, there was some type of joy or, you know, unique fun that you had moving into a new spot at the same time,
That's probably
too.
how Pete feels. You know what I mean? You go in and you go, wow, this place could use some sprucing up. And that's how he's feeling about the Raiders.
It's a pain in the butt, but in the same time, it's like, all right, well, I get to start all over. And listening to Pete during that interview, I mean, he sounds like he's locked in. He sounds energized. He sounds like he's up for the challenge, and he sounds like your typical Pete Carroll. So him making that move to the Raiders was probably stressful because you're building a staff all over again. You're learning the facility. You're learning the management, people upstairs, like logistics, the security, all that stuff. But at the same time, where you're going through that process, you get to make something yours. And I think that is what drives Pete Carroll, is just making things his. Because he also talked about how he said, I got fired a lot, you know, before I got to USC. So he learned a lot there, built USC. Built here in Seattle. So he's got a blueprint, and it seems to work.
This was him talking about taking Ashton Genty at number 6, one of those picks that so many people predicted. All of a sudden, we were second-guessing it and wondering if it was too obvious. But no, they end up with the Boise State Star.
You guys are always griping about that stuff. Do I love running backs or what?
I mean, you
Come
do.
on. Yeah, no kidding. And so you get a guy like Ashton to come in here and bring his crazy little stuff that he can do. You know, it was. And Spy was on it too. John Spytek he loved him too, and so
bring his crazy little stuff that he can do.
Crazy little stuff, little running back, all those moves, and
yeah, that's wild.
The Genty is
he's in a great fashion.
I mean, you think about Pete Carroll, he has coached some of the greatest running backs we've ever seen. Right? You got Reggie Bush and Lindell White at USC, and then you get Marshawn Lynch over here. He's in love with the run game, and I think that he can identify talent, especially in the run game. And most defensive guys are like that too, man. I like talking to defensive guys about offense because their perspective, you're literally on the other side of the football. And even when I sit down, I do X and O's with defensive guys, even the way they draw the defense is different. Like you usually put offensive guys, you put the offense on the bottom half of the sheet, defense on the top. I mean, with them, they flip it, they do it the other way. You know, so just perspective is crazy, and it's fun to sit down and talk to defensive guys. And Pete, if you ever want to sit down on the X's and O's, man, I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah, let them know. Let them know. We're going to stick with the Seahawks. Seahawks reporter John Boyle is going to join us. We've got Hype Train, some Seahawks topics coming up in there at 1:15. Then we're back to the Mariners with a farm report. Mariners Director of Player Development, Justin Toole, joining us at 1:30. That's all coming your way in the next hour.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me? Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. parking at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
NFL schedule makers are claiming they had no inside information from quarterback Aaron Rodgers regarding a potential decision to play for the Steelers. The theory springs from yesterday's schedule release, which has the Steelers facing off against Rodgers' former teams, the Jets in Week 1 and the Packers on Sunday night in Week 8. NFL Vice President of Broadcasting and Scheduling Mike North said today the Steelers' national brand drove the league's decision. Quote, "We don't know anything more than anybody else. The schedule was built for Coach Mike Tomlin and for the Steelers. If Aaron decides to play, it probably just makes many, if not all, the Steelers games a little more interesting."
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We have a schedule release yesterday. We find out when and where the Seahawks are facing their 2025 opponents. We've got that and a few other things to cover with Seahawks reporter John Boyle joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, John, how's it going?
Hey, Stacy, how are you?
Good. Happy to have you. We'll start with the schedule release. First takeaways from the schedule. John, for me, it was just, hey, how cool, facing the 49ers in Week 1 and in Week 1's at home. What stood out to you upon first skimming the Seahawks schedule?
You know, I think probably it's just sort of like it's a pretty balanced, you might call fair schedule. I think some years there's things that jump out that seem pretty, like, unenviable. Maybe it's a back-to-back road stretch that looks really tough, or an early bye, or, hey, we're playing 3 teams coming off their bye week, and there's not a lot to complain about on this one. I mean, obviously, anytime you're playing in Seattle, you have a lot of long trips, but that's going to be every year for this team. But and the 10 a.m. games are not really an issue for this team anymore. They've been really good in them. So, yeah, I don't think there's a lot to complain about. I mean, it's a pretty, go out and play the games, obviously, but it looks like a pretty favorable schedule in terms of the way the games are, the home and road are spread out and a Week 8 bye, all those things.
Boy, when you look at the schedule, did it change your expectations for this year, or does the schedule not even matter to you when it comes to just projecting?
Not really. Not really. I mean, yeah, I guess, again, if you had just some stretch like, a couple of years ago where it was like, I think it was they played like the Eagles, the 49ers twice, Dallas, like, who was good at that point. Like, some of those stretches might change your expectations. They're like, ooh, boy, that's going to be tough to survive that stretch. But, yeah, otherwise, that expectations to me are more based on, A, obviously what you think of the team, and B, the opponents, which we've known since the end of last season.
Were there any kind of like sneaky kind of opponents? For instance, I ask because Bump feels like there's absolutely a world where the Seahawks enter their Week 8 bye with maybe 1 loss. I think these opponents are going to be a little sneaky tough. Guys like the Texans, right, with like a pretty good defense. The Steelers, obviously, with a really good defense. Were there moments on the schedule where you go, God, I could see this team sweeping this stretch, but this is going to be kind of a sleeper test?
Yeah, I don't like to get in the prediction game too much, in part because there's so much variance year to year where it's like, yeah, you can look at, I mean, I see what Bump's saying. You look at this first stretch going into the bye, and Houston's a playoff team. They're division champs, and Pittsburgh was a playoff team. But all those look pretty winnable if you do things right. But at the same point, like, I guarantee there's a team we're not talking about on this schedule that, won between 5 and 8 games last year that's going to be a playoff team. And there's probably a playoff team from last year that's going to win 6 or 8 games this year. You just don't really know. This league changes so much from year to year. So, that's why I always think it's hard to go through and just look at, okay, well, they should win this, they're going to lose that. They're pretty much all tough. But, yeah, I'm pretty – maybe I'm biased on being inside the building, but I'm pretty high on this team this year in terms of the way they finished last season and just kind of some of the changes they made. I think that'll help them improve on offense, schematically, all that stuff. So, I could see a scenario where they start off with a really good record going to that bye, but it's, you just never know what these opponents are going to shape up to be.
Hey, Boyle, who was the most impressive to you during the rookie minicamp? I know it's shirts and shorts and all that good stuff, but anybody not named Milroe or Nick stand out to you?
Well, Bump, I was actually at my brother's wedding, so congrats to him on that. But I did not see rookie minicamp, unfortunately, so I'm not the guy to ask about that. But, yeah, just based on, my coworkers who were there and the media reports that were there, I think, you mentioned him already, but Milroe's a guy that's going to – he's going to generate a ton of excitement because the position he plays, the athlete he is, all those things. I think the positions that tend to stand out in these non-contact type workouts are the the guys who touch the ball, the receivers, and I think the receivers are guys that they were day 3 picks, but both those receivers I think have an opportunity to make their mark. And I know Ricky White was just a terror on special teams in college, so he's a guy that could win a role that way. But yeah, obviously this time of year you're excited about everybody, and I think quite a few guys impressed the coaching staff in that limited look at minicamp.
Again, Seahawks reporter John Boyle joining us right now. And John, earlier when you were talking about feeling optimistic about this team, you said, look, maybe I'm biased because I'm, in this building every single day. And while I appreciate the journalistic integrity and the honesty and transparency, the flip side of that is that you have a much closer look than 99% of people who are watching from the outside, right? And so I wanted to ask you about some of those changes since you get to see this every single day. Is there a change that this team has made that you think, because of this move, I'm feeling like 10-plus wins is possible, that a step forward is possible?
Well, first off, the flip side of that, I feel like 10-plus wins are possible without a change because of the defense. You look at this is a 10-win team last year, and look, I get, the biggest concern I think most people have is the guys who are gone on offense. You lose, your Pro Bowl quarterback, your Pro Bowl receiver, an all-time guy in Tyler Lockett, and I get that. Those are tough guys to replace, but this team largely won 6 of its last 8 games and finished with 10 wins because of the defense improving the way it did. Almost everyone's back on that side of the ball. They're going to have a full year together. You add Tank Lawrence, who's, I know he's on the, later end of his career, but he's still been a really good player in the last few years. So I just think there's a lot of reason to think this is the kind of defense that alone, even if the offense isn't great, can carry you to a lot of wins. And now, offensively, look, obviously a lot will hinge on the quarterback. It always does in this league. It's a quarterback-driven league, and Sam Darnold is coming off a great year, but you're asking him to do it again and do it in a different, slightly different system and with new guys around him, new coaches, all that. But, in terms of the changes that leave me most optimistic, I think it's just what they're going to try to do offensively, stylistically, I think will complement the defense a lot better. They want to run the ball. They want to be more physical than they were. They've got, proven scheme and coaches who have taught it. So, there's always going to be an adjustment when you have a new offense and a new quarterback and new scheme and all that. But this isn't, last year that offensive staff were a lot of guys thrown together for the first time. This is a bunch of guys who have been coaching this same scheme for a long time. And in the case of Rick Dennison, John Benton, Clint Kubiak, these guys have all worked together. So as much as a new offense and scheme change can be seamless, I would think this is one that has a chance to be relatively seamless. There'll be, some bumps in the road, but I don't think this is going to be one where you're just struggling to get everybody on the same page because these guys have all taught it together so much.
How much, what are your expectations for Gray? I don't remember a offensive lineman expected to come in and save the day like him. Even when Cross was drafted, 9th overall? It just feels different with him. How much impact do you think he can have with this line?
It's not fair to ask. First of all, not that guard's not an important position, but I don't think you can look at like a guard on any team and say that one guy is going to like transform an offense. You can change the attitude and the toughness and help bring that along, but just the nature of that position is everybody around you's got to be doing the job too for it to really work. You have the best guard in the world, and if the center and the tackle and that guard are not on the same page, it's not going to look very good. But yeah, I mean, you draft a guard that high, you're expecting he's going to be a starter, obviously, probably from day one, and they've already talked about him being a left guard. So you look at, he probably fills that role right off the bat. And I just think that, going back again to the coaching change that these guys they brought in, they're expecting them to get more out of everybody on this line. So it's like, if some of these young guys, whoever ends up winning the job at right guard and center, if those guys take a step forward from where they were last year, plus you plug in a guy who's athletic and tough and all the things they like about Gray's able to make him the first round pick, then I think, collectively you're expecting that offensive line, the interior line in particular, to take a pretty big jump this year.
How close do you think, again, I know we're not in the business of predictions, so this is in that family of questions, but in talking about the 49ers in week one, I found myself just wondering, like, what kind of team can I expect? And then I'm looking around the rest of the NFC West, and no disrespect to the Cardinals, but I'm kind of figuring it out between the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers because I don't really know what to expect with these three teams other than they've all won before and have, talent on the rosters and also question marks. Are you anticipating a fairly close race this year?
I am. I think all the teams you just mentioned, I wouldn't rule Arizona out either. I mean, they were kind of inconsistent last year, but they at times were really good, and they've got a lot of weapons there. So I could really see a situation where all four of these teams are really battling for it. The Rams have pretty much, as long as McVay's been there, with a few exceptions, they've been right in the mix, and they won the division last year, obviously. So to me, probably the team that's maybe hardest to figure out right now is the 49ers because they've been so good. And then, a lot of it was obviously injury related, but they took a big step back last year. So it's like, do they bounce back and get right back to that NFC elite level? Or was that, some of the age of that roster showing and they might deal with more health issues? We don't know. So it's like, that week one game does have a lot of intrigue for that very reason of like, is this the 12-win, closer to the 12-win 49ers team from a couple of years ago, or are they closer to the 6-7 win mark that they were at last year? And probably the answer lies somewhere in between, but I would certainly not sleep on a team coached by Kyle Shanahan and some of the weapons they have on that roster.
The Cardinals, Boyle, are interesting to me because it seems like we kind of push them aside every year, but I see what's going on over there. They signed McBride. You have Harrison over there as well. The defense is getting better. What do you think they stand in this division? I mean, everyone's picking the Rams to win it, and then the Niners too, and the Hawks and the Cardinals kind of battling out at the bottom. How do you see this thing?
I mean, I think they can be right in it. I think Gannon's a pretty good coach, and I feel like they've been kind of trending the right way since he got there, even if it hasn't yet resulted in the success they want to have. I just think they're a tougher team and just a better all-around team than what they were before. And they showed it in flashes last year. They started pretty strong, and then they kind of hit that skid starting. It was with the loss to the Seahawks. They lost 4 in a row there to fall out of contention. But yeah, I think, I guess I'd be pretty surprised this year if any of the 4 teams are really out of it early. I think we're going to see 4 teams that are all pretty competitive and, all at least in the playoff discussion going into the latter part of the season.
One of my favorite things about the NFL schedule release is the social media announcement, the videos, the creativity that different social teams get to do. And I thought the Seahawks had it was my favorite that they've ever done. Like, I loved the video. Witherspoon was so funny in it. It was so clever and creative with the throwback stuff. Do you have some behind-the-scenes stuff that you can offer as to, like, where'd the idea come from? How'd it come together? Did you have any role in it? John, tell us what we can know about it.
I wish I could take more credit. We've, fortunately, with the growth of team media and social media and all that, like, we're a lot bigger than we used to be. When I got here with those early, a lot of this sort of schedule stuff started in 2016. We did that cupcake baking video, which was kind of, people point to as one of the first schedule release videos. And back then I was very involved because our department was very small and we'd all plan all this together. But now I'm not super involved anymore. I, again, wish I could take credit, but there's a lot of really great creative people I work with who did that. But yeah, I mean, the idea behind it, from my understanding, a lot of it is just, kind of got that 80s, 90s retro feel because we are celebrating the 50th anniversary, or I'm sorry, the 50th season this year, and there's just going to be a lot of nods to the past. You saw that in the video with the Tez and Steve Largent, and my favorite part of the whole thing was the Kingdom bathroom in there. So, yeah, I think it's just it was a fun video, a lot of little fun Easter eggs in there if you go back and watch it again. But yeah, it's fun seeing different teams get creative and all the different things people do. And I did think, again, going back to me being biased, but I do think that was one of the best ones I've seen this year.
I can agree.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
The powdered soap was.
I saw a few of them, and I think the Hawks did their thing. Boyle, is there anybody on this defense, or is there a position on the defense or offense that you're still concerned about? Obviously, people talk about the offensive line. Me personally, I look at the DB room. Is Josh Jobe going to be the guy? Linebackers, I mean, the depth there. Is there a position that you're still kind of waiting to see how it all pans out?
I mean, maybe less concern than more just sort of like curiosity of how the DBs are going to pan out. I'm really curious to see if, how they decide to use Nick Emanwari and, like you mentioned, Josh Jobe. The way the season ended, he would be that third guy. But, is it a cornerback competing with him, or is it, is the competition really for more three safety stuff? And then you said linebacker, maybe Emanwari kind of fits in some linebacker type looks, like almost like a, safety linebacker hybrid. So it's less, I'm really worried about this position group than I'm just really intrigued sort of how the secondary, and even that'll touch linebacker as well, just sort of how the back end of their defense looks and the different ways Mike McDonald wants to deploy those guys.
Hey, I have a weird question, but it's a question about questions.
All right.
I noticed that you put out a request for your Seahawks mailbag, and you do that all season long. And I'm just out of curiosity, like a little behind the scenes, what's the most common thing that you feel fans are wondering about the team? Because I bet you get the same like 10 or 11, 12 questions.
Yeah,
what tends to be the most common concern or question?
It can depend a little bit on sort of the time of year we're in. Like before the draft, it was a million questions about the offensive line because the Seahawks didn't really do much in free agency with the line, and a lot of fans did not like that. But I think, a lot of those same fans really wanted them to draft a guard early on, and they did that. So, sometimes it's, it was funny going back before we announced throwbacks. When would that have been? I think 2022 for the 23 season is when we announced that. That was like the runaway favorite question all the time, is when do you do throwbacks? A lot of fans want to know when the international games are coming. Like, when are they going to go back to the UK or go to Germany or whatever it is? So there's, it can depend on the time of year. And obviously during the season, a lot of the questions hinge on how the team's playing. And if they're lost a couple games, there's maybe a little more anger in those questions and people calling for job changes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's, it varies a lot with just sort of what's going on in the calendar and how the team's doing.
Sam Darnold is our guy. And one of the arguments are, I guess, comments that me and Stacy get sometimes, or we got it today actually, is that, well, he had a better season than Geno, so he should automatically be good over here. Me and Stacy know better than that, Boyle. So what are your expectations? I called him an if quarterback. Like, if he is supported, if the play calling is good, if guys make plays around him, the possibilities are great. Just your expectations for Sam.
I mean, I'd say other than like Patrick Holmes and maybe Josh Allen, that's every quarterback in the NFL, though. Like, it's really hard to expect any quarterback to thrive if they don't have good protection and they don't have weapons around them. And that's why, there's probably only a couple guys who sort of transcend all that. But yeah, I mean, look, do you expect the exact same numbers in a 14-3 season as last year? Maybe not. But I do think what he did, like, he wasn't doing anything that just was like fluky when you go back and look at how he played. And again, it's a different coach and a different offense, but schematically it's very similar. It's all based in the West Coast stuff. He's worked with Clint Kubiak when the two were in San Francisco together. So, yeah, I mean, they need to protect the quarterback better than they did last year. Geno Smith played, I know the interceptions were higher than people wanted, but Geno Smith played really darn well given some of the protection issues they had and the fact that they just did not run the ball enough last year. I think we're going to see a much more balanced offense. They're going to run the ball more, which will help their quarterback, and I do think they're going to tailor this offense around his strengths. So, yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily, I'm not saying he can't be a Pro Bowl level quarterback. He showed it last year, and I think he can, that looked repeatable from what I've seen of it. But going back to what I said right off the jump, like, I think this defense is good enough that you don't need to be, super elite offense to win a heck of a lot of games on this team. So, they got high expectations for him. They've got some good weapons around them, and I think they're expecting this scheme and the run game to really help them out. And I do think we're going to see, a really good version of Sam Darnold again this year.
Good stuff from Seahawks reporter John Boyle, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, John.
Boyle.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's head to the station for Hype Train. Seahawks heavy to start, and then we're going to head to the NBA. The Seahawks, something we hypothesized, will wear their rivalry unis. One of two divisions to introduce that this year in Week 1 at home against the 49ers.
It's 1 or it's 18. Week 1 or 18.
And that's boring. 18 is boring.
Takes too long.
Yeah.
1 is almost like it's too early, though. It's like, man, I kind of want to ease into it.
Or you could be the first.
I think it has to be Week 1. And it has to be against the Niners. So it's 1 or 18. I'm going to go 1. You convinced me. I'm on the train. Holla at your boy.
Curtis! The Seahawks will wear their rivalry unis in Week 1. Bump has been convinced. Are you?
I just don't see it happening in a day game. I
thought you were pro Week 1.
No, I said prime time is when I think it
Oh,
happens.
so you think the Cardinals in Week 4?
I think Cardinals Week 4 is where I see it happening.
Juicy a rivalry.
Right.
Juicy.
Yeah.
I mean, who would even the Cardinals consider their rival? They don't really have one.
I don't even
Who would
know.
be their rival? The St. Louis Rams?
Maybe the Rams.
No, because I think the 49ers and Rams have just gotten the better. You know what I mean? I think that they hate each other.
You have to be good to be a...
Themselves?
Yeah, they don't have anybody.
Not
They've
bombing
got no
in the second
friends.
half of the season,
The Heat.
winning at home.
That's the rival,
Their
the
own
Heat.
stadium. Yeah, the Heat.
Yeah, so I'm not boarding this train. I don't think it's Week 1. I think it's late, a little bit later. I'll go Week 4.
I'm going to go Week 1 because I want to be first to the party so that you can be the first to leave. And that's a nice trick that I recommend to everyone. Next up. Okay, everyone get the schedule up in front of you. Get the Seahawks schedule in front of you. The Seahawks will enter their Week 8 bye with only 1 loss. I will read the schedule. At home against the San Francisco 49ers, road against Steelers, home against Saints, road against Cardinals, home against Bucks, road against Jags, and then at home against the Texans. Is there only 1 loss? Only 1 loss in these ones.
Only 1 loss.
That's a wild prediction.
It is, man. But it's because you look at it and you feel like they can get away with 1. And I said 6-1 or 5-2. But I think Tampa Bay is going to be better. Yeah, I'm going to say 1. I'm on it, man. Losing to one of those teams.
Only 1.
1.
Bump sees, what is this going to be, 7? 6 wins? 6 wins. In the first 7 opponents here. 49ers, Steelers, Saints, Cardinals, Bucks, Jags, Texans. Curtis, do you see 6 wins in those 7 opponents?
Boy, we'd all love a 6-1 start. That would be incredible. You'd have to play like 333 win percentage the rest of the way to get basically a playoff spot. So you'd be setting yourself up nicely. It is so hard to go 6-1 against any schedule. And I get that this year's schedule, you're playing both South divisions, which makes things a lot easier for yourself. I just think there's going to be a game somewhere in there that they're going to lose that we're expecting them to win. That's kind of how it always goes. And at Pittsburgh, still not sold that that's a gimme for the Seahawks, especially if Aaron Rodgers is the Steelers quarterback that week. Now, if it's Mason Rudolph, I think the Seahawks have no excuse but to go out and win that one. But I don't know if that one's going to be super easy. Houston is a good team. They've made the playoffs the last couple of years. Like Bump said, Tampa Bay is an improving squad. I can see 5 wins, but 6-1, I don't think that happens. I'm not boarding that train.
Yeah, I'm not boarding. I'm the negative Nelly, wondering. Not that I don't think this team.
Nelly.
I think this team can take a step forward. But if you were like, okay, randomly, like first thing to come to mind for these, I would say win, 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 loss, 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 win. That's what I think the first 7 is going to look like, and I want to bookmark this so that I can go back in case I'm right. But yeah, I think that the Jags are going to surprise them. Because you convinced me the other day about Lawrence's season, so now I'm like thinking the Jags are going to be better. And I think Tampa Bay, the Cardinals can sometimes get you. Granted, you've had more success in their home and you are on the road, but I think they can get you sometimes. And Tampa Bay, I think, can just be like quietly good. So I see potentially some losses there where people are going to start, oh, God, what's happening? And it's like, just bad stretch of luck. Like, I think those might be a bad stretch of luck games. So, no, I don't see it, but I think that there's lots of room for a genuine step forward for this team. I don't know that I'm feeling confident enough to say 6-1 to start. You get full bragging rights.
The only thing that bothers me about your comments right now is you said negative Nelly instead of negative Nancy.
Negative Nelly Nancy. I mean, it's just you just think of like a name.
It's interchangeable, I think.
Yeah. I think it's a little more really
It's not.
inclusive when it's Nelly.
It's not interchangeable. It's negative Nancy.
Negative Nancy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know.
What, Matthew?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, why are you being so negative about negative?
Why are you being a negative Nelly about negative business?
He got you. Last one. Let's go really, really fast here. The Thunder won't represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals.
Them young Bulls over there, man. SGA. Chet over there as well. Those young Bulls. I'm going to say no because I want the Wolves to represent.
Okay.
But, hey, it's
But
a
you're
real
scared.
possibility. Yeah.
The Thunder will not represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. Curtis.
Yeah, we're boarding that train. They won't represent the Western Conference. I think it's Minnesota. It's got to be Minnesota. I get that Denver is still alive, but they would have to take OKC to 7 games. I don't see them pulling out a 7th game in Denver. So I think it's up to Minnesota to kind of squash OKC's hopes here. And I think it happens. I think Anthony Edwards, this is kind of his moment here, and it gets done. So we're boarding that train.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
Extra Innings airs from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. It's an off day for the Mariners, but you can get the latest news, updates, and a preview for this series against the Padres. Coming up next, it's the Farm Report. Mariners Director of Player Development, Justin Toole.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious. They're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. You know, those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Celebrate 50 seasons of Seahawks football at Lumen Field and take your game day to the next level with premium hospitality and incredible views. Host a one-of-a-kind event in a private game day suite or get front row access with sideline and end zone field seats. For more on how to elevate your game day at Lumen Field, visit Seahawks.com/premium.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out for baseball here at T-Mobile Park.
Home. Home is where you gather. With friends. With family.
Ball to right field. It continues. Jorge Polanco.
Sometimes even folks you don't know. But in a way, you do. Because you share at least one thing in common. And one thing can be pretty powerful when it's multiplied by 40,000.
Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Welcome home.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with a 3-day Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway against the Nationals May 27th through May 29th. All 3 games are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats for as little as $11. Go to mariners.com/value games to lock in your tickets today.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers, and one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
Sewing Machine Service reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. A message from the entire team at Sewing Machine Service, family-owned and proudly serving the greater Pacific Northwest since 1942, and wishing the class of 2025 a safe and successful future.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Justin Toole, Director of Player Development, joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. This is the Farm Report, and we have a very exciting farm to talk about. Justin, first of all, I'm going to start with Curtis. Let me know you were just in the Dominican. How was that trip?
It was great. Anytime besides the weather, getting down there to see those players and the staff down there is always great. Like the rest of our system, we've got a lot of young, really exciting players down there. So definitely a good few days to spend down there with that group.
I'm just going to work from the top down. I'm going to start with the Tacoma Rainiers. We've actually seen a few more AAA players at this level than I would have anticipated this early in the season, Justin, as you know, with some of the injuries that Seattle's had. So I'll start with just kind of your thoughts on some of the names we've actually seen at the big league level, and then we'll go ahead and talk about some guys I know like Harry Ford and a few others that people are still really interested in. But Ben Williamson has probably been the name people are most familiar with, and then obviously we've got some arms up here now. So tell me about some of the guys that Mariners fans are seeing early this season with the big league club.
Yeah, it's definitely been exciting. For guys like Ben and Logan are probably the two guys up there that people are most familiar with, with Ryland Thomas and Siren Lau getting up there as well. at times throughout the season. But, one of the things we talk about in our system is trying to get our guys ready to impact our major league team. And, our AAA staff in Tacoma with John Russell, the manager, has done such a great job of, getting those guys ready and, others ready for when that opportunity comes. And, you never want to see guys go down or, injuries happen. And unfortunately with our major league team, we've had a few of those, but it's been awesome to see, our younger guys be able to step in and take advantage of opportunities that have come and, continuing to, work with the major league staff, with our Tacoma staff, to continue to keep them developing, whether it's in the minor leagues or at the major league level. But, it's been fun to watch in terms of, our staff in Tacoma and what they've done with the work with our guys.
The two guys, obviously still with Tacoma, that I hear about the most from listeners that are always like, what about this guy? What about this guy? You can probably guess where it's going, are right now Harry Ford and Cole Young. There are other names that you guys are really, really excited about, particularly guys with Everett right now. But let's start with Harry and Cole and tell me about how those guys are doing right now.
Yeah, it's been great to see him. Both of those guys moving up to the level. Anytime you move up, and especially as young as those guys are, you're going to run into a little bit of struggles early. There's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, and both of those guys have been through it, and both of those guys have kind of come out the other side better than, where they were when they started the season, which is exciting. So, Cole obviously was the player of the week in the PCL here last week. It's kind of taken off here, and if you look at the numbers, you'd say, hey, he's really on a hot streak. But in reality, he's really been doing a great job throughout the course of the year. At the beginning of the year, there was a lot of hard hit balls for outs, things like that. He's continued to trust that and continue to work through that, and the balls have started to fall. A few of them over the fence for him, which has been really, really good to see. And then, Harry's just continued to be Harry throughout the course of the year. And, if there's a guy in our system that we've been really proud of just in terms of his development, both on and off the field, it's been Harry. His ability to handle more of a veteran pitching staff down there and, be open to input and feedback from that group has been tremendous. So definitely, proud and happy for the success that both of those two guys have had here early in the season with Tacoma.
Before I move on to Arkansas and Everett, Modesto, one final question. There's a name that hopefully, and I don't mean this in a bad way, isn't going to be in Tacoma for long with George Kirby. But Justin, I'm always curious about what that experience is like for the young guys that know they're going to be with Tacoma all year. They're not going to get called up. They're still very much developing. When you have, a major league arm, someone with a big league club that's there for a rehab assignment, do you see them talk to those guys a ton? Are they being taken out to dinner? I mean, what's that relationship like?
Absolutely. And I think one of the cool things for me is, guys like George that have come through our system, specifically with our pitching group, like it's a pretty tight knit group. And, a lot of our younger guys that, maybe you're in Tacoma, maybe you're in Arkansas, but guys that have been in and around major league camp, you'll see all that group together watching bullpens, continuing to talk pitching and things like that. And obviously when a guy like George is down there, our younger pitchers and younger position players, like it's great for a guy like Harry to be able to work with George down there and, have conversations about what he's seeing and how things are working. And anytime, and I think the cool part for us is the older guys, the major league guys that like George, like Cal in spring training, like Julio, those guys, love our young players and, they'll sit there and have sidebar conversations. They'll try to help them out, take them under their wing. And, it's a lot of fun. So that's definitely, one of the exciting parts of, the rehab process for us is just being able to acclimate some of our older, better players with, some of our younger ones that are still learning.
Those players are spread out, obviously, throughout different levels, and it's not like, you can pick favorites. I mean, everyone's where they are for a reason. They're working on something. They're rehabbing something, and there's so much potential with all of these guys. That being said, is there a group right now maybe concentrated to one of these teams where you go, man, I can't wait to see what we get out of this pool of players?
Yeah, I think that's the fun part in my position is, we've got 6 affiliates if you include, Arizona and the DR group. And, it's exciting to see what happens each and every day. You're going to have a group that does really well. You're going to have a group that doesn't do quite as well. Obviously, we're really excited about that young group that we have in Everett just because there's so many of our younger top prospects there. But like I said, each and every day there's a different story or a different timeline of, whether it's Arkansas putting together a scrappy win or coming back late, or, Modesto with Ryan Sloan on the mound, with Felning at shortstop. There's always something exciting going on in our system. And I think speaking to the strength and kind of the development process and success that we've had, it makes it a lot of fun to, turn on the computer or the TV and watch any number of our affiliates throughout the course of the week.
Speaking of Everett, Ty Pete, just absolutely looking amazing right now. First in the league with 10 doubles, 7th and 21 RBIs. Obviously just had a 2-run homer the other day. I mean, tell me about his season.
Yeah, it's been exciting. His move to the outfield has really helped him. just in terms of kind of take some pressure off of him. And I think he's thrived defensively in the outfield. And I think that's the first thing that kind of showed up in spring training when we kind of made that switch. Offensively, he's, been in a much better spot. You're seeing the power show up more this year early. It took a while for him last year in Modesto for that power to kind of start to show up. And, that group down there is doing a great job just in terms of trying to keep it simple for him. And, with a lot of our young guys there, whether it's him, whether it's Laz, whether it's Colt, whether it's Johnny, it's tough it's easy to forget that those guys are so young. So a lot of times it's bringing them back, keeping things simple. And Ty's been doing a great job of doing that here recently.
Okay, I have two big picture questions, and I'm going to start with one that is admittedly kind of tough to answer because there are so many possible answers, Justin, so I apologize. But one thing that I see a lot, and it's a very common thought, is if a young kid, like he's raking or he looks absolutely amazing in the minors, it's like, oh my God, fill in the gap here. You could use an extra first baseman, you can use an extra outfielder, call him up, let's do this. And that gap between transitioning, no matter how successful you are, from the minors to the pros has a lot of obstacles in between. You have overseen guys, obviously, in the minors, and then as they develop and transition to the pros. What are some common things that you see in terms of, like, is the pitching massively different? Like, what are some of those things that cause some guys to really need to work through that gap?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think one of the things our organization does a great job of, and obviously Andy before me, but Justin and Jerry recognize as well, just how important the mental game is. In professional baseball, you're playing every single day. You're dealing with road trips, you're dealing with recovery, you're dealing with, failure, you're dealing with success. And there's so much that comes along with that. And I think one of the biggest things that gets overlooked when it comes to like a position change or trying to plug a hole or trying to help a player learn a new position is just all of the amounts of stress and the nuance that comes with that. So I think for a lot of young players, and talking to some of our players that have come from some of the best conferences in college baseball, whether it's the SEC, have made comments about how much different it is in terms of an adjustment of getting to professional baseball, just with a different environment, the length of the season, the amount of games, just, how often, if you're a pitcher getting off the mound, if you're a hitter, how many at-bats you're getting during the course of the week. So a lot of different nuances with routines, with recovery, with sleep and things like that. So I think a huge thing that often gets overlooked is that, but then also just the physical strain of being able to perform at such a high level each and every day is something that everybody's always trying to adapt to. So I think a combination of those are probably the biggest things that show up. But again, I think our group does a really good job of being able to support our players, whether it's physically in the weight room, on the field, or, off the field with our mental skills group.
Okay. Next and final question. Are there any potential major league debuts that we could potentially be expecting from guys this season? So, for instance, I know we're all excited about like a Colt Emerson, but someone that's a little closer that you think like, I can't wait to see how he does.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw any names out, which probably disappoints everybody out there.
Justin.
But I do think that there will be some, and I think that that's just over the course of a season. You can't really ever predict, what's going to happen and where things are going to go. Obviously, we talked about the injuries with our major league group and some of the guys that have gotten up there already this year. So I do think, we're acting as if, there's going to be people that are going to get the opportunity, and our job with player development is to continue to help our players get better each and every day so that when that opportunity comes up, they can take full advantage of it. But definitely really excited about the group in Tacoma, the group in Arkansas, the group in Everett, the group in Modesto, and what they're doing right now. And when you look forward to possibilities like that coming in the future, it's definitely exciting knowing that the work and the effort and the energy our group is putting into, make sure that they're ready when that time comes.
You're listening to the Farm Report from a team with one of the best farm systems in baseball. Director of Player Development, Justin Toole. Justin, while we couldn't trick you into giving us hints as to who would be some of these names we see here soon, I know we should be very excited about them because you are so clearly excited. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. It's coming your way next.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while.
Yeah,
How are
I bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey friends, it's Stacy with a little bit of inside info. I know there are a lot of local business owners listening right now. This message is for you. Wayscar Ford is running great pricing on all of their commercial vehicles, trucks, Super Duties, Isuzu FTRs, box trucks. The bigger, the better, and they have a ton of them. New and used models and a ton of 2025 models. I'm on their website right now. Here's one, $11,000 off. Another for $19,000 off. Wayscar Ford just expanded their heavy truck shop, and there are a ton of opportunities. They're looking for mechanics if anyone listening has heavy truck experience. Join a wonderful company at a dealership that's been in Auburn for 103 years. Take advantage of the amazing inventory and deals they have right now. Commercial sales and service for both Ford and Isuzu. A great option for people, a great option for families, and now business owners. I'm a proud customer. I know you will be too. Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
Hey there. I'm Phil Briggs, Navy veteran and host of CBS Eye on Veterans weekly radio show and podcast. And I often think of my old boss in the Navy, Commander Reed, especially when I'm trying to motivate my kids. Now I know how he must have felt trying to motivate me. This Military Appreciation Month, Navy Federal Credit Union wants to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
The first Mariners Fireworks Night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop Fireworks Show, presented by T-Mobile, after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
JP with a flip, and they got him at first base! How in the world?
Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of all 6 Mariners Fireworks Nights this summer, including a sing-along show on June 13th and a patriotic palooza on July 3rd. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, like 3 straight Mariners value games against the Orioles starting Tuesday, June 3rd. Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in right now, 866-979-3776. Get those questions in, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. How concerned should I be that the Mariners bullpen has been used inning-wise way more this year than last? If I recall, didn't the bullpen last year have a breakdown toward the end of last season because of overuse?
You should be concerned because if the bullpen is getting work, that means the starters aren't putting some innings together. So, yeah, you should be concerned. You know what's crazy to me is maybe this is just dumb football jock. Relievers throw about 20 pitches. And then they're overused if you use them like a couple times throughout the week. Meanwhile, a starter will get out there and throw 76 to 80 pitches. It makes sense because obviously like they're just conditioned differently. But I'm like, it is. I always look at those numbers and say they're overused and look at their pitch count and go, but there's not a lot of pitches in there.
Well, and it's the quality also.
Max effort.
Yeah, so it's like
over 20.
Exactly, and then after that,
it makes sense.
No, I know.
When I look at the numbers, I'm like,
yeah.
I get it.
There's not quite the same specialization. In
but
football.
they're going ham.
Yeah,
they're throwing that thing.
What was interesting is when we asked Ryan about Andres Munoz, he didn't seem to, if I'm remembering, maybe it wasn't Ryan. I feel like it was Ryan. He didn't seem to think he was being like overused per se. It was
Munoz?
more of just Munoz.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's had an outing this season more than 3 outs.
No.
I don't think he has had a multi-inning save.
Well, he would
this
have
year.
like periods of long relief last year where he'd go back to back or whatever.
He'd throw 2 innings.
I think you know what I think it is? It's almost like we're pre-worried too, knowing is Logan Evans going to get you 6 2/3? Is Emerson going to be able to, like, are some of these starters just going to have to wear it?
Mm-hmm.
Munoz, every outing this season has been exactly 1 inning in length.
He's been
no
crazy.
more, no less.
What I need to know, let's see here. Who will emerge as the leader on this very young offensive line?
Charles Cross. His line is his. He's the he gets the most snaps. He's the most reliable. It's Charles Cross. Now this is a personality thing, though. Like, how does he lead and does he even want that leadership role? I think if Abe Lucas were healthy, it'd probably be him because he has that leadership type of vibe and feel to him. But no, it's got to be Charles Cross.
What I need to know. If you quantum leaped back in time to your high school days, how long would it be before you made a reference people didn't understand, and what would it be? Great question.
Dang, that's a good question.
Yeah.
A reference. It'd probably be fairly quick because I talk about golf and how Tigers fell off, and people be like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, they'd be like, "What do you mean?"
Like, what do you mean he fell off? Like, yeah, he's done.
just getting started.
He's cooked.
It would be more of like a habit. Like, it'd be hard not to want to reach for my iPhone. Like, the concept of like what you can do with your iPhone now. Like, cell phones were clearly a thing, but it was different. There was not an iPhone 15.
Yeah, if I pulled my iPhone out to 18-year-old me back in 2009.
Blow your mind.
Wow.
Well, no, it would be me telling, I'd have to go a little earlier into high school. So like if I told, let's say 14-year-old me, can you look it up on your phone real quick? I don't think I'd know what that meant.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean?
I don't have that kind of data.
Like in my address book, or what are you saying?
It probably, I dress weird too, because I dress the way kids are dressed now, like baggy clothes. But now all my stuff is fitted. So they'd be like, why are you dressed like that?
Let's see. What I need to know. Who at 710 is most likely to throw you under the bus for eating someone else's food out of the fridge?
Mike Lefko.
Yeah.
Why is this even a conversation?
All three of you at the same time said Mike Lefko.
Why was there even a pause?
Yeah, that's fair. It's Mike Lefko.
Mike Lefko loves order and balance.
Yeah.
And he loves to make sure that everybody is operating under the same set of rules.
But society needs Mike Lefko. This is like a Lord of the Flies conversation. You need someone that has order to balance out anarchy and chaos. You know?
For sure.
Yeah. Let's see. What I need to know. Bump, why are you allergic to turn signals?
I'm not. I just was going out of Starbucks today. And Officer Blippity Blop decided to pull your boy over for nothing. He was trying to see if I fit the description. That's what he was doing.
Stacy and Curtis, what do you remember about the old South Center Mall?
Ooh, great question.
Bump, if only you knew.
Rainforest Cafe. That was out there.
Rainforest Cafe. Rainforest. Did you have a Rainforest Cafe in LA?
I've never been to one, no.
What?
Bump.
It was like eating in the jungle. They had like
you know what a Rainforest Cafe is.
Nah.
Bump.
They had like monkey sounds in the background.
Horrible food.
Yeah.
You would never want to have the food ever in your life, and it would be like lava. So you would go into it, and it would be
It's loud
the
in there.
entire thing.
It looks like it smells like old water.
It did smell like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I need you to know,
Yeah.
not a single place was not covered with leaves or fake rock or animals. The entrance to it had a giant fake pond with a fake alligator in it that would occasionally like open its jaws.
It looks like a restaurant you'd eat at Disneyland.
It's the coolest place you've ever been to in your entire life.
Yeah.
I was I quickly grew out of it, but initially was exactly the age group, like on the older end that they were targeting to. You're like 9, 10.
Yeah.
It was the coolest place. Look, there was this fish aquarium.
I think we had a couple of birthdays there.
A fish thing. This was the entrance to it. You would walk through and there was fish all around. Hang on, no, Matt, no. Stop the music. We got 30 more minutes on Rainforest Cafe.
He goes, Bob, if you haven't been to a Rainforest Cafe, where the heck did you guys go for prom and homecoming?
That's right.
Someone said there was a Rainforest Cafe in LA.
Really? Never been.
Is there a Rainforest Cafe anywhere in the world right now?
If there is, it's probably like Disneyland.
Closest one is in California. There's still a few across the U.S.
If it's the same,
I'm going.
We're taking a show trip to the Rainforest Cafe.
We're going to do a show from there?
Yeah.
The background noise is going to be hard to compete with.
We'll figure this out. Thanks so much for listening. If you missed any of our interviews, thank you to all of our guests, by the way. Make sure you check out the Bump and Stacy podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or SeattleSports.com. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Brock and Salk.
A quick question / maybe unpopular take. I guess. I totally understand graduation gifts in high school.
Okay.
There's $100. Here's this. Here's that. Like graduation gifts in college.
Why not? Almost more so. I think that would make sense.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you talked about setting someone up for the rest of their life. For the most part, you're going off for high school.
I mean, they've done
kids.
that with their degree. Like, God bless them. You think it's appropriate, like, collegiate graduation gift?
Because then you're actually, like, going out to start a real life.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Mike's Western Suppliers and CL Western Apparel remind parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Mike's Western Suppliers and CL Western Apparel. Family owned and proudly serving our community for over 30 years.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and great news. This August, luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, the hotel is finally opening. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience at snocasino.com. Breathtaking views of the Cascades in Snoqualmie Valley, an expanded non-smoking gaming floor, awesome destination spa, a 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yes, new food venues, restaurants as well. You can book at snocasino.com.